So that was some vacation, huh?
Not exactly the relaxing foray we thought it was going to be, but then again, when is it ever?
To be honest, Yoshi was even saying that the vacation didn't truly end until patch 7.3.
Really now?
Yeah, which I call bullshit on the vacation ends the halfway point of this MSQ.
Sounds about right as far as going over it is concerned. Hello everyone, this is the Big Cat Aethercast.
I am Rei.
I am Leo.
And we are here to talk about Dawntrail finally. We've gotten you almost current, Leo.
Almost current. I still have a couple of patches to work through, but honestly that probably is going to be a trailblazer compared to basically the journey to get up to here.
Yeah, pretty much. There's only 4 patch quests we have to get you through now.
I do want to just give you sort of just as a reminder about the same time last year. We were just recording...
Shadowbringers?
No, 2 years ago, sorry. 2 years ago, we were recording Heavensward.
Yeah.
So, yes, it has come quite a way since then.
It has now been 3, closing in on almost 4 years of us doing this.
Well, I think it's 3 years.
Yeah, it's more 3 than it is 4.
It's more 3 than 4. Mainly just because I don't want to... You don't count ARR because of the slog ARR is. Also, yeah. I didn't have a good rig at the time I technically started.
Yes.
So I want to say 3, close to 3.
But yeah, it's been a while. 3 years. We almost got you current, and then I can start hounding you to do dailies with me.
Yeah, that'll take some time, but we'll see about that. We're covering MSQ of Dawntrail. We're also going to cover 2 of the endgame dungeons.
Yes, the ones that came out when you beat patch 7.0,
okay.
Which is Tender Valley and the Strayburrow Deadwalk.
Yes, or as you know it, Nightmare Hellwalk.
Yeah. Ugh, I do not like that dungeon. Well, it's more that I don't like the first boss, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
So, we'll just go straight into it because it's really just honestly, it's probably the most clear-cut of a Final Fantasy XIV story we've had in a long time.
It's pretty beat for beat. We have perfectly laid out points of interaction we can talk about.
I will also say that by this point, they've definitely gotten an idea of how to pace their narrative because it never really felt like any quest was dead air.
Which is funny considering a lot of people say there's a lot of pacing issues with this expansion.
Well, there's a lot of quote-unquote pacing issues because people don't see how the story is unfolding. And I think that's kind of... There's a lot of hate that gets thrown on it because they're starting something new. And honestly, I don't fucking see it. It's very difficult after you've ended a 10-year story, which, by the way, you need to count Final Fantasy 1.0 for that.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people disqualify as far as, how they're actually trying to build it. So, I feel like this is as smooth a transition as it gets.
Yeah. To be honest, we think that, well, when this thing was starting, we were like, okay, we're starting a new storyline.
A full new arc.
Full new arc. And so, our baseline is ARR. Is it better than ARR?
Yes.
That is all we were looking for.
Honestly, after playing it, better than Heavensward, possibly better than Stormblood. I say possibly because I actually rank Stormblood higher in most cases.
Which is funny because I actually do rank this higher than Stormblood. So if you want to know our base thoughts of base Dawntrail, better than Stormblood for the most part.
Well, I would say even better than Heavensward.
Well, thing is, I like dragons.
I know you like dragons, but we'll get into that, I suppose, more towards the end of the... So let's go ahead and pick up where we actually left off, which was leaving port
in Sharlayan
to head to Tuliyollal.
Yes, because we had just met Wuklamad, and she had basically asked us to be her helpers in her right of succession to claim the throne of Dawnservant.
Right. And accompanying us on this quest is going to be the twins,
Alphino and Alizé,
as well as Kryl, who decided to take up combat arts and is now going in as a Pictomancer.
She's going in as a Pictomancer, and she wants to go in because her grandfather had received a letter about going to Tuliolal to investigate the Golden Cities, and she wants to know what all that is about.
Correct. So we actually open up we actually open up on the going out of Charlian, getting on board a ship with Wuklamat and Erenville, who is apparently natively Tuliolal, but we don't find out more details about why until later.
Yes, he is native Tuliolalan, which is funny because he has a fucking Icelandic accent, but I think that's because he's trying to hide it.
Yes, and we also find out exactly what Erenville's baggage is going through this expansion. But the first thing we come to notice, Wuklamat does not like water.
She does not like traveling on boats. She gets seasick really easily. She also gets airsick later on as well. She does not like traveling in vehicles, which is a funny shonen quirk that I haven't seen since Fairy Tail.
She also has issues with domestic land travel, but we'll get to that one in a bit.
Yes.
What we do have is, of course, the fantastic opening video, which shows us on a skiv as we approach Tuliolal.
Yes.
And we get to the port pretty quickly, and we get to go ahead and see what the people think about Wuklamat. There is a lot of skepticism initially, as well as concern about her associating with outsiders.
It's mainly because she hasn't really proven herself, unlike her brothers, the first promise and second promise.
Right. We also find out that she is technically considered the third promise, as well as the sort of structure within Tuliolal itself. We go ahead and we get our bearings straight. We get room at the Forward Caverns. We explore the marketplace as well as sites around town.
So, what do you think of Tuliolal itself?
I mean,
it's basically Mexico City.
Well, not just Mexico City. I would say it's actually closer to Tenochtitlan because of or maybe even like Tenochtitlan if it was located on
beachfront property.
Yeah, no, there's a specific city that. It's not Cancun. It's I forget. It's going to kill me later because everyone and their mother has gone there for either vacation or honeymoon. But there's a very famous city on the peninsula of the Yucatan Peninsula, which is basically Mazatlan. It's basically Tenochtitlan was located at Mazatlan, which is absolutely gorgeous beachside property, very thematically like native in that. Mexica way, which is what those people would have called themselves.
And for some reason, it's playing jazz everywhere.
Yeah, no, the music is a very interesting choice, and it gets weirder as we go into it, but it gets weirder for the sake of that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, we go ahead and we are eventually brought before the Dawn Servant, who is the de facto ruler of Tuliolal.
Galul Jaja.
Galul Jaja, who is a two-headed Mamulja, which we haven't seen since ARR.
Yeah. If you've done the, what's it called?
Ampdor Keep?
It's not Ampdor Keep. Fuck. Now this is going to bug me.
Yeah, but there's an early ARR dungeon where there's a two-headed Mamulja. The Lost City of
it's the one with the fucking tonberries.
Yes, it's either I think it's either Ampdor Keep or it's the Lost City. But they actually that was the last time we've seen a two-headed Mamulja, and actually we find out that two-headed Mamulja was a former Tolulan resident, and that he had basically been exiled, for lack of a better term, taken up raiding in our region in Eorzea, and basically was hiding out there. But apparently that is considered a rarity. But it's also very prodigious for reasons we'll find out later. Nonetheless, we do meet Galul Jaja, who, for lack of a better word, asks us to keep a close eye on Wuklamat because he knows of her youth and inexperience. We are quickly also have a mild hiccup where he was going to call Erenville by another name, but quickly corrects Galul Jaja from revealing it. Mm-hmm. Further hinting that Erenville, for whatever reason, is ashamed of his heritage.
Yeah. By the way, it's the Wanderer's Palace.
Wanderer's Palace, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I had to look that up. That was driving me nuts.
Yeah, no, believe me, I feel you. Nonetheless, we eventually do have the formal ceremony where all the claimants are brought forward.
Yeah, so let's...
And go ahead and are introduced not just to us, but also to the public.
Yes, so why don't we go through them one by one? Let's start with the first promise, Zoraljah.
Zoraljah is a very interesting one at the start. He is considered the favorite at the start to be the successor to Gulul-Jaja.
The blessed sibling, the miracle.
So we're told initially that the reason this is considered a miracle is because two-headed Mamulja are
not able to procreate.
Are not able to procreate. They technically are not able to have young. They're supposed to be considered sterile within their own nature. Even more interestingly, Gulul-Jaja has both features of Mamulja tribes.
Well, yeah, that's basically how a two-headed Mamulja works. It's a blending of two of the Mamulja clans.
Right, but Zoraljah has them both with one head.
Yes, he has the blue scales of a Bonewa and the features of a
Buniga.
Hubigo.
Yeah. But he is initially presented as very imposing, and Kryl has a very negative reaction, almost to the extent of Xenos, just from an echo reading off of him.
Yeah, she can't get a good reading on him. It's like a fathomless deep darkness and a burning rage, and we don't really understand what that is until literally near the end.
And even then, I don't think we get full explanations till post-patch.
And I kind of find it interesting that we don't ever get inside his head.
Yeah, all the time that everything that we're told about him, even about his inner ego, is only through Kryl who is able to get those readings. We never actually get an echo version of him ourselves. We do get some out of the way cutscenes that show some more of his nature, but for the most part, he's one of the. And I think that this is one of the key points I would say for Dawntrail is that I think one of the things that was happening is that a lot of people complained that there are too many quote-unquote redeemable villains.
Yeah.
And I think that had to do a lot with Stormblood got the complaints for that with Fordola. Xenos kind of has that by the end of Endwalker, even though he's still kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he's still an reprehensible monster.
But a lot of people complained about that, and I think Zoraljah was that attempt of like, we're not going to sugarcoat it with this man.
Yeah, he is the villain. He is a problem from point 1 to point Z.
Okay, but we'll go over him in more detail as the story progresses. Next,
the second promise.
Bahatia.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as
Kona,
who is a Mountain Dew-haired Makote, who is all about the future is now, old man.
Well, he did study at Sharlayan, and he did bring technology back to Tulialal, like the air blimps and the trains.
And also populating firearms.
Yeah.
It's very much implied that the Dustwatch may have had some weapons, but he brought them back and promulgated them.
So he brought guns to America.
Yes. Kona is very much the idealist, very much nerd sibling to Zoraljah's jock.
Yeah.
He is also a massive syscon.
Yes, he is a massive syscon because he constantly worries about Wuklamat, which happens later on in between the Feet of Pots and the Feet of Proof.
Yes, but he is initially kind of presented as awkward, nerdy, but very insightful and puts a lot of stock into technology and advancements in sciences.
He does not respect traditions or the history of the world, but at least at first.
And he does wisen up more towards the middle of the story.
Yeah.
And then last, of course, we are reintroduced once again to Wuklamat, but then we get shown the heel of the initial half of the story.
The cool Jaja, the winner of a tournament in Mamuk, who is another blessed sibling like Gulul-Jaja, and is all in all just a fucking asshole.
He is quite literally the heel of the story. Because he is a two-headed one, we do find out that the two heads are distinguished by epithets. The Bunegwa head is considered the mighty. The Hubigo head is considered...
switch that.
Oh, sorry.
The Hubigo is considered more physically prowess. The Bunewa are the magically inclined.
Hunigo is the mighty. Bunewa is the wise, or is it the... It's either the wise or the cunning.
It's the mighty and the wise.
The mighty and the wise.
Yeah.
So, Bakul Jaja is incredibly haughty, and initially comes off as just outright Mamul just speciesist. Like, literally, according to him and his tribe, the
Blessed Siblings are their salvation.
Not only the Blessed Siblings' salvations, but it was his species that was the ruling class prior to changes and reforms made by
Gulul
Jaja.
Which even then perpetuates the idea that two-headed Mamulja are the only ones who should rule Tuliolal.
Right. I also forgot to mention, when we were first initially introduced to Bakul
Jaja.
No, Gulul Jaja.
Yeah.
He is fighting Estinian.
Yes, that is true.
And fighting him to a near standstill. As Wuklamat explains that she has only ever seen two people stand their own against Papa. Him and Zoralja.
Yeah.
And so this sets up something that happens later on, because he does want to have a piece of the Warrior of Light.
Yeah, that doesn't happen until right during the Feat of Pots.
Not until later, though. But
yes.
It is important to hint that, as well as the fact that Estinian is in the area. He's just gonna be fucking around for a bit.
He's just wandering. He's just there, which is fucking weird. Because there's this one issue I have with Dawntrail, is that the Scions should not have been all together.
So, I get that, especially because at the end of Endwalker, it's like, we're disbanding, we do not associate with each other, we're all going to do our own shit.
Yeah.
I will say, however, that immediately goes to Riot anyway with Estinian.
Yeah.
Because immediately after that, the first thing we do when we go start hearing about treasure trails is we end up teaming up with Estinian.
Yes.
So I feel that it's more the fact that Estinians realize, I tend to get in trouble when I wander on my own. Maybe I'll just follow the Warrior of Light, and that will go ahead and keep me more or less in where I need to be.
I don't even know if he knew that we were going to Tural.
I don't think so, but I also think that at the same time, it's like, everyone seems to be going that way. Maybe I'll just go ahead and beat them to the punch first.
I don't know, but
that or Emmerich was feeling needy again. He said, "Nope, I got to get out of the country."
Regardless, Gulul Jaja then assembles everyone and tells them what they need to do to earn the right of the throne, which is to find the lost city of gold and perform these various feats of valor and determination and proof that they can actually reach it.
So we are told by Wuklamat of the Tuliolal saga, which is basically not just recounts the story of her father's adventures throughout Tuliolal, but also basically outline the method and manner in which he ascended to the throne to unite Tuliolal under one ruler. As before, everyone basically was in their own tribes.
Yes.
In doing so, he basically gives each of the claimants tasks that basically replicate each of his own steps, and at each of the tribes, they basically have task stones.
Yeah.
Do the task given by the taskmaster, and you will receive a gem.
Yes. Place the gem into the tablet,
and that will mark that you have successfully completed your task. Yeah. Collect all 6 tablets, and then find the hidden city.
Right.
Is the underlying goal. Now, this hidden city of gold has been rumored about for ages, and Erenville knows of it, and in fact has been tasked in the past by his own mentor to go find it himself. However, he has deemed it a myth and near impossible.
In fact, a lot of people in Tuliolal deem it a myth and a fool's errand to even go find it.
Because anyone who goes out for it ends up dead.
Yes.
Although how and why is often mysteriously left unsaid, but it is part of the reason, at least, why it is considered a near impossible task, and thus the claimants are set out to do so.
Yes. And so, with that, we start with the usual thing with these expansions, the split path.
Because, unfortunately, because of the events during Endwalker, Tuliolal was also affected by them, and therefore suffered massive earthquakes that they are still in the midst of repairing.
Well, yeah, it's actually, there was a giant storm that happened that people are believing to think was caused by Valigarmanda trying to break free.
Valigarmanda being the Tural Vidral, which is an auspice in Tuliolal.
Yes.
Nonetheless, those natural phenomena basically limited everyone from basically starting in local areas to go ahead and begin the quest, which leads to one of two paths: the path of reeds and the path of gold.
Yes, with the path of reeds, we go and see the Hanu Hanu. With the feet of gold, we see the Pelu Pelu. I say we start off with the feet of reeds.
Right, which is the way that we did start. We are, of course, explained that the Hanu Hanu are this land's version of the Vanu Vanu, as they are basically similarly sized bird people, but bearing more tropical colors, as you would macaws, parakeets, other tropical birds.
If you do some side content, it actually tells us that Vanu Vanu actually managed to migrate to Tuliolal and actually develop that plumage.
Which of course, would fit along lines with actual evolutionary mechanics.
Yes.
But nonetheless, we go over to the Hanu Hanu village, only to find out that they are going through blight.
Basically, the reeds that sustain them are suffering because of the storm and other reasons.
And so the gist is to go ahead and solve the problem of the Hanu Hanu village to receive your gem.
Yes. And we figure out, or at least what Wuklamat and the party figures out, is that the festival that they have seasonally in the Hanu Hanu village, which is actually responsible for helping keep the reeds and stuff flourishing.
Because it basically acts as an ether ritual to replenish the land.
Yes.
Now, while the four claimants are all technically tasked with the same task, not all of them agree to assist. For example, Zoralja basically considers it beneath him.
Yeah, he is not there at all.
And basically fucks off the sooner that he arrives. But Kuljaja is a downright asshole about it.
He basically tries to steal Wuklamat's plan.
Well, no, first he tries to go ahead and bully it out of the proctor, who says that's not happening.
Yeah, he tries to just get the gemstone from them.
And then he proceeds to go ahead and sabotage the float, thinking he can bully it out of one of the engineers who was assisting us with this task, Wukevu.
Yeah, oh yes, Wukevu. He is a fucking treat.
So Wukevu is a local
Hrothgar, or rather Jabral.
Jabral, which is the term for Hrothgar here, who is autistic as fuck.
Yes.
He is incredibly specific about manners and rules.
And greetings.
And constantly fucks them up himself, especially when addressing Wuklamat, who is, of course, the third promise.
Which he tends to go, oh, I've made a mistake. Please, take your axe and chop off my head.
To which Wuklamat uses, I'm not going to kill you. Just take it easy, all right?
And he's like, okay, I won't worry about it.
And that becomes a running gag with him for quite some time.
Because he keeps popping up from time to time.
He becomes, honestly, a very helpful side quest. And I think of anyone who probably should come back as far as like Wuklamat's cast, it's probably him.
Well, yeah, he could come back. I could see that.
I think he needs to come back.
He could definitely serve as like an advisor for Wuklamat.
But nonetheless, we go ahead and, with the help of the twins, basically finding out about the ether conductiveness of the float, as well as how the lack of ether is the reason why the reeds are not flourishing. We help rebuild the parade float, to which Wuklamat is going to be considered the guest of honor for it. The float ritual is conducted, and the ether to some of the field of reeds does come back.
Yes, so some of the reeds are restored, but not all of them. But basically, Kryl and the twins are basically saying to the proctor, like, if you keep doing this festival, it should help stabilize and restore things back to the way they were.
Because apparently they hadn't had the festival since Zoralja had initially been in there.
Yeah, they had kind of let the festival go to waste. As I believe what they said was they reduced it to cheap theater.
Yes, and so upon that realization, Wuklamat is considered victorious in the rite of reeds and given her first gem. At the same time, just as we finish, Kona shows up with a magic potion, literally just dumps it into a field and causes the same effect.
Yes.
To which I think it's either Alice or Alphino examines it and realizes it's a very high.
It's basically it's very ether conductive stuff.
Well, it's a very wind aligned ether solution, which again goes towards Kona's reliance on technology and science.
Yes.
We're also introduced to the fact that he does have some familiar friends as his bodyguards.
Well, we don't actually know it's them at first, but we know it. We know it's them.
Okay. But nonetheless, the feat of Reeds is accomplished, and so the party moves on to the remaining task, which is the Rite of Gold.
Oh, we didn't really talk about the area, which is Kozama Uka, which is basically the Amazon rainforest.
Yes, it's very much based off the Amazon rainforest, very tree dense, which is why that you couldn't necessarily take a sky balloon out there. You would have to walk it by foot.
Yes, but it's also right out the front door.
Yes, the next area is Urcopacha, which is we're going to Peru.
Yes,
because not only is it hilly, mountainous region, but they're also known for their alpacas.
Yes.
Which is also a thing Wu Klamat fears.
Yes.
Because as anyone who's actually seen an alpaca knows, they're ornery fuckers and they like to spit.
Yeah. It is. I've never been spit by an alpaca, but it is not good.
It also is one of those things where it's all the bacteria and scent is in that loogie. So, yeah, that's at least... It's not only disgusting, it is literally stinky.
Yeah. But basically, the feat of gold is to capture an alpaca. Capture a wild alpaca.
Yes, which is considered very difficult because they are flighty and, as we just spoke, temperamental creatures.
Yes. This is also where we get introduced to Zeral Ja and his ambitions and machinations.
Yes, he decided to go ahead and not do the prior task, but this one he's deemed easy enough to do, and basically wanders into the wilds to go catch an alpaca.
Yes.
We are initially introduced to the Pelu Pelu, who are basically this region's Lalafell equivalent. They are mass traders who basically are very capitalistic.
Yes, they are eager to sell you something, but they're also very kind about it, and if you decline, they will not press further. Which is more than I can say about some Lalafells.
Right. They do play more to the more regional specific when it comes to bartering and haggling. We are introduced to a friendly Pelu Pelu. Mablu, as well as her, I want to say, adopted father / employer. Tobli is sort of a master guildsman in the area.
And also the feet
proctor. He basically tests everyone by trying to see whether or not they can actually know it's him. Because the proctors are considered, or his proctoring is anonymous until someone finds him.
Yes.
Basically, they have to go ahead and determine which among the Pelu Pelu he is.
Yes.
And he basically hints that, look, we can't sell you the thing that would help you get an alpaca easily, but you can trade up for it.
Yes. And so he starts off by giving us a basket of wool to see if we can trade it up. It's basically like one of those old Legend of Zelda trading side quests.
Yes, it's also, if you've ever done, it's also a very famous bartering test. You trade something, trade your weight into getting what you need, which is part folklore, part real life where people have done that before. And it's one of those things where it's it speaks to your level of negotiations as well as socialization, your ability to work with others.
Yes.
And so basically, we go about training Mablu and Wuklamat in terms of doing this, because initially Wuklamat almost gets shanghaied into buying a bunch of ponchos she doesn't need.
Yes.
Just to go, and for a lot of the early expansion, she does get treated like a butt of the joke.
Yeah, because when she tries to approach an alpaca, she gets spit on, and I felt so fucking sorry for her.
Yes.
She is a sopping, wet cat of a character at the beginning.
Yes. But we basically, through a couple side quests around the area, we go ahead, we trade up to from bundles of wool to ponchos to
a hatchet,
to harvesting tools for mezcal,
Yeah.
which they actually do name. To going ahead and trading up bottles of mezcal.
We need the mezcal because that's what the saddle maker wants.
Right.
But in order to get to the mezcal, we need to get we gather mate leaves.
Mate leaves.
And then through the mate leaves, we also add in our own little things like offering to slay some monsters, offering to introduce the mezcal maker to people at the Dawn Throne.
And through that, we managed to go ahead and get Wuklamot a saddle.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Wuklamot is the only one allowed to go into the valley where the alpacas roam. But we go ahead and we support her all the west and camp out, waiting for her to come back with an alpaca. By this time, we should mention that Zoraljah has not only captured an alpaca, but he's captured a fucking golden alpaca.
Yeah, he got the 5-star gotcha pull.
To which even the proctors, like, we haven't seen those since the time of the Dawn Servant,
when he showed up originally.
Which, of course, everyone takes as a sign that Zoraljah's the chosen one. We also find out a lot of the Pelu Pelu do kind of support Zoraljah because he basically is campaigning on a foundation of war.
Yes, he's campaigning on conquest to unite the star itself under one banner.
Although he does say he's initially taking this out on the Garleans, which is a fair point, but this is before, and this is during the time of Solus Rosgalvus, and also completely ignores the fact that we just got finished with those fuckers and getting them to actually, integrate into society properly.
Yes, we're trying to get them to recover from the effects of the final days.
And this guy wants to go ahead and set them back.
Yes. Like, they're barely getting a republic up and starting. They're barely starting to trade with Rei'tan.
Right, but it is sort of and even the Pelu Pelu kind of think about this, is that they very much are, money is money, trade is trade, business is business. Even though Tobley does also admit that a lot of the younger generations do not recall what life was like before the Dawn Servant, in which case they themselves were enslaved by the Yokui, who are basically
giants,
who are basically the local giants, and that only a certain number of people remember the Dawn Servant's heroism.
God, this sounds fucking familiar to modern day stuff.
Yes, it does. Nonetheless, Wuklamot does eventually come back after an evening of tracking down alpaca, managing to secure one for herself and therefore earning a gem from the trial of gold.
Right. So with that, we have completed the first two quests.
Now, the next quest, which was called the Feet of Pots, requires us to go upstream into the mountains.
Into the mountains of Kozamauka.
However, the problem is that because the storm has knocked out the main trading pathway there, it's not going to be accessible by foot. However, this is the point at which Kona shows some of his generosity, and explains that the only way up to where the Feet of Pots would be accomplished is by manatee.
Yes. Well, actually, it's Erenville who finds us a way there.
Oh, Erenville.
And then Kona shows up with Thancred and Urianger to say that they're going to go a slightly different path. Because they know of a way through the river up there, but they're going to go, but we're going to go up the river into the first dungeon.
Right.
Which is called Ihui Katumu.
Ihui Katumu. Which is basically, it starts off as basically we're on the river going up towards the river path, only to be encountered by Bakul Jaja, who basically sabotages our manatee ride up.
And so we have to go on foot from then on. The first boss is actually a manatee, which is kind of a fun fight.
Yes.
The second fight is a weird little drowsy thing that summons seeds and plants and gel-like creatures.
I will say, with the manatee fight in particular, the amount of shit that gets on the screen for a mid-boss has stepped up increasingly.
Yeah, this is the point where I say, welcome to Dawntrail difficulty.
Honestly, not that bad compared to Holminster Switch.
Yeah.
And still not that bad compared to the start of Endwalker. Because I think both of those
Oh, Tower of Zod.
Tower of Zod. I think both of those were in the, like, I would say Tower of Zod, the really only thing is the final boss.
Yeah.
But Holminster Switch was the kick in the dick.
Yeah, it wasn't the bosses of Holminster Switch that were difficult.
It was the enemies.
It was the ads. It was the pulls.
Yes, and I will say that might have been because I was doing Holminster Switch as a tank then. And these last two expansions, I've been DPS.
Yeah, you been going in as Viper for this expansion.
Right. So I did a lot more DPS stuff. So I would say a much more conventional Endwalker experience to most people, I would say.
Yeah.
But I probably do need to go back, and whatever the next expansion is, I probably will be tanking.
Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, the Manatee fight, the Punity fight,
yeah,
is very interesting just because of the amount of stuff that's on screen.
Yeah, the Drowsy fight is more, you just got to figure out which way the directions of the vines are facing, even when they get bigger.
Yes, and then for the actual end of the dungeon boss is a Final Fantasy IX reference.
Yes, it is a monster called Apollyon, and it's kind of a fucky thing. The thing that always fucks me up is the cyclone that keeps moving across the area that'll then do a star-shaped
burst.
Star-shaped burst, yeah. That's the thing that always gets a lot of people.
Yeah, I would say it's not that bad, but later dungeons we have difficulties, not just because of the bosses, but also because of the party. We'll get into that later.
Oh.
But we'll go ahead and say that for the first dungeon, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Anyway, we managed to go ahead and get up successfully
to the upper parts of Kozama Uka, and so we can actually go and meet with the Moblins,
yes,
which are, again, another subsection of goblins that actually got up into Toral somehow from digging underground.
Yes. These Moblins, however, basically are art patrons, and basically engage in what's called pot packs with artisans. Basically, the Moblins go ahead and arrange for supplies, food, lodging, and equipment for the artisans to do work for the Moblins.
Yes, and the artisans will make whatever they find they deem fits their fancy.
Again, very patron oriented, which is very interesting. Although it wasn't always that way, which we find out later.
Yeah, apparently the Moblins used to actually just kidnap people and have them make stuff for them.
And gang press them into basically being their production mill. It was only after the coming of Galul Jaja that they basically changed their ways and began to actually support the artisans rather than press gang them.
Yeah, and so for this feat, we have to basically find Moblins a new person to join the Pot Pact.
Luckily, we happen to have met an artisan who was on the ship with us going
to Toral.
From
Sharlayan to Toral.
Not just Sharlayan, he was originally from Foundation.
No, Ul'dah.
Oh, Ul'dah. There you go. You're correct.
He was an Ul'dah jeweler who could not handle the life and work stress of Ul'dah. Tried, and then basically went to Sharlayan for some hope there, and then heard about Toral and thought, wait, maybe we can make a new life there.
Right.
Fontaine, that's his name.
Fontaine. And so we go ahead and we talk to Fontaine, who initially is very hesitant because he had just gotten a position working in the markets of Tuliolal.
Yeah.
But we go ahead and we talk with him and manage to go ahead and not only smooth things out with the Pelu Pelu merchant, who is his employer, but also we get to lift his spirits up because he's having a lot of self-doubt about being able to do the job himself, which really resonates with Wuklamat.
Yes. And so we end up taking him to the Pot Pack. During all of this, Zoralja is bringing his own Pot Pack person because basically who wouldn't want to help the first promise?
Right. To which Bakul Jaja tries to say, you know what? I'm going to take your man.
Yeah.
And Zoralja says, over your dead fucking body.
But then his Grand Vizier, Jar Jar Jaffa.
Jar Jar Jaffa.
That's what Jesse Cox calls him.
Yeah, I can see that. He's very Jafar-like in terms of his scheming. So
Sariel Jah,
Sariel Jah is his actual name.
Yeah, he will actually show up again.
Yes.
You think he's dead? He shows up again.
He shows up again.
Yes.
Okay.
For the Alliance Ring.
Okay, but let's finish because we think Bakul Jaja is the shit, Zoralja puts him in his fucking place.
With a single gut punch.
And basically says, "Know your place, worm," and basically walks past him with the pot packed
In hand.
and Zoralja basically like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Well, Sorilja was actually like, don't kill him. We may have use for him.
Later.
Yes.
And he's like, "Fine."
Yeah. And so we bring the pot pack to the Moblins. We get our keystone, and we're about to go on our way to the next place, the Feet of Proof.
But Wuklamat wanted to go check something.
Well, no. Someone tells Wuklamat that the Moblins forgot to give them something, and so she goes back to check on that.
Only for her to be gone way too long, only for us to find out that it was a ruse by
bandits.
By bandits who go ahead and kidnap Wuklamat.
Yes.
And that sends us into a panic.
And it sends Kona into an even bigger panic.
Who immediately stops going on to the next task with us, and instead asks us to assist him in recovering his sister.
To which we end up having to do a lot of stealth missions.
We do a lot of background and stealth missions, eventually finding out that local bandits, under orders of Sorelja,
and collaborating with Bakul Jaja,
go ahead and basically orchestrated the kidnapping, not only so that way they could steal her gems, but also go ahead and try and pull her out of the contest for good.
However, they did not account on us.
Yes, to which a small skirmish occurs, which they realize, oh, we're outmanned.
Yeah. I like how Bakul Jaja immediately locks in on us and says, that one is not to be
messed with.
And we just saunterly walk up to him like we own them. Like we're pimp walking.
We know what we're all about. You are a speed bump compared to the cosmic threats we've dealt with.
And we don't even have to do anything. We know Thancred's got our back, who then immediately starts bashing Bakul Jaja, frees Wuklamat, who gets sent flying.
And poor Kona, doing his best attempt to try and rescue his sister, breaks his back.
Breaks his back and breaks his pelvis at the same time, because keep in mind, Wuklamat is not a strong thing. She is an Amazon.
She is an Amazon Jabral. Kona is still
a twink cat boy.
Yeah, his ass is not catching her.
Yeah. He is walking with a limp for the rest of the event.
Yeah, it's going to take him a bit to get his walking back, but he is happy to have his sister safe, even with her gems being stolen, and thus, with sort of the ground being balanced once again, they go ahead and proceed onward to the next feat.
Which is the Feat of Proof, which is with the Yokui, the giants, of which were mentioned before with the Pelu Pelu.
Yes.
They are no longer slavers, but they now serve as guards against Valigar Manda, who has now been sealed in ice thanks to Galul Jaja's
adventures. Basically, they've confronted the creature, made it drain enough of its energy, and then using its own magic against it, basically encased itself in its own ice.
Yes.
This was 30 or 50 years ago?
80.
80 years ago, to which the Yokui have noted that in recent times, he has been starting to stir out of his own prison.
The ice is starting to weaken.
And therefore, the Feat of Proof demands that they find out ways to keep him in prison.
Well, no, the Feat of Proof is actually to find the Yokui High Luminary.
Yokui High Luminary.
The Feat of Ice is to actually help
imprison him.
Help keep Valigamanda in prison, but that's not going to happen.
So we go ahead and we begin working on the Feat of Proof to go ahead and find the High Luminary. And we end up hearing that he may have gone to
the top of the mountain, Warkor Zormor,
which is considered sacred to the Yokui. And we also find out that while most of the Yokui maybe not obey, but at least regard the Dawn Servant's words, there are those who do not still.
Yes, because originally the Yokui were territorial expansionists. They originally ruled all of Yoktaral and were trying to expand into Joktaral. That's what the giant bridge in Tulialal is a bridge that they made to cross the Great Expanse to go into the next continent.
However, something happened that anyone that went over there suddenly began struck with disease, illness, and famine, and thus those Yokui basically were wiped from the face of the earth.
Yes, and so they were forced to retreat back to their mountain homes.
Yes.
And so we end up going to the second dungeon, the 93 dungeon, Workor Zormor.
Which leads us to the High Luminary
As
as the final boss.
Yes. So let's see. The first boss of Workor Zormor is an ice spirit.
Yes.
Which looks like a bunny, and it's got an interesting mechanic where it will freeze some of its allies that are causing big AoEs, and then freeze some, but not the others. So what you have to do is you have to be in the AoEs that are currently being frozen over, and let the ones that aren't being frozen resolve, and then get out.
Yes. It's almost like fighting a Final Fantasy XIV version of the fucking Monster Hunter Snow Bunnies.
Oh, real? Oh, the Lagombi.
The Lagombi, yeah. Basically a giant fucking Lagombi.
Yes, okay. And then the second one, I do not like this boss.
It's Condarior, which
Yeah.
is basically another condor.
It's a condor that summons a lot of crystal effects, where it will sit down a puddle and it will do one of two things. It'll either be an outward mechanic where you have to get away from it, or an inward mechanic where you have to get into it.
Yes. And finally, at the top of the summit, we finally meet Gerfler.
Gerfler, the High Luminary, who sounds like fucking Dr. Claw.
He does have that Dr. Claw voice. He has a lot of earth and wide area of effects that we have to manage.
He summons tablets that either cause fire, water, or wind, and he then starts mixing them together, where you have to get where the fire's about going off, but the water is also about to go off, and you have to be knocked by the water into where the fire used to be.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
Nonetheless, we managed to take out Gerfler, and that succeeds the proof of the right of proof.
Yes.
Which leads into discussions, because he explains that he was one of the adventuring party of the Dawn Lord when he was adventuring.
Yes, the Dawn Servant.
The Dawn Servant. And they go into a bit of their religion, to where they explain that they basically mark cenotaphs for those who have fallen, but who have passed, but are not to be forgotten.
Yes.
And that it is considered a mark of honor for those who are still living to receive such a cenotaph.
Yes.
And that all of the Dawn Servant's acquaintances or adventuring partners also receive that, including one Kakiwa, who is, as we're initially told, Aaronville's mentor.
Yes.
And that's all we know at the time.
Yes.
Nonetheless, Gerfler explains that, yes, Valagarmonda was imprisoned thanks to the Dawn Servant's cunning, but he has been leaking out ever since, and that the next feat, the feat of ice, would be to go ahead and reinforce his prison, except there's a massive explosion back down at the base of the hill, and oh no, shit's gone south.
Yes, we basically hear from Alphino, who was still back down in the area, that Valagarmonda had been freed.
Yes, we also did kind of glaze over that some of the Yokui who were against Wuklamat's ascension, Yerglifer, I think his name?
I'm not sure what his name is.
But there is another Yokui who basically was initially opposed to Wuklamat's going up Workor Zormor, but because of the way that she defended him and his men
from the condor that was in the mountains,
they went ahead and gave her permission to enter the area. Yeah. And that is at least part of the reason why Alphino got left behind, because he was looking after some of the injured men.
Yes.
Anyway, we go back down the mountain and eventually find out through an echo flashback that none other than Bakul Jaja, because he is also a blessed sibling,
has the ability to undo the seal.
And basically does so for shits and giggles.
He does it to basically cause chaos and see if they could actually get ahead to the next feat and actually get ahead faster.
You know, not caring that he could basically have destroyed the entire continent.
Yes, because Valagarmonda is known as the Sky Ruin, and the entire area of Orkopacha is scarred with Valagarmonda's claw marks and explosions, with an eternal fire that does not burn out.
Oh, hey, that's exactly what Houndoom's next description says.
Yes.
Nonetheless, we basically have no choice but to confront Valagarmonda in its weakened state and hope it hasn't absorbed enough ether that we can still take it down.
Thus begins the first trial of the expansion, Workor Lardor, against Valigarmanda itself.
Yeah, so Valigarmanda is basically Leviathan, but with Eden Leviathan, but with 3 elements. It basically will go fire, lightning, and ice attacks, and you have to go ahead and avoid them in sequence when it goes full ham.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the few bosses that I've actually done the extreme for.
How does the extreme differ from the original?
The fire phase is a lot more intense.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, it'll do the fire phase, and you'll have to look to either side of the arena for an erupting volcano and get the fuck away from it.
Yeah, and in the base version, he has a similar effect, but snow avalanche.
Yes. Well, the snow avalanche is even more intense because the spread out ice things that happen are much more concentrated. It also does this weird circular ice move where you have to move across a specific line and get around it. And it's really interesting. And with the lightning phase, you basically have to go all around the arena, avoiding the concentrated attacks that spread out. You know, you have to avoid them.
Yes.
Because for the feathers, and then you have to destroy the first feather as fast as possible, so you have a safe zone for when lightning strikes everything.
Right. So yeah, no, it's really intense, but it is a very good trial for your first step at this point.
You can also, if you don't have any party members, you can actually do it with all the
with the duty.
With the duty, because
Or the trust.
Because Zoralja also comes in to help, as well as Kona and
the remaining Scions who are assisting.
Yes, but we actually managed to beat Valigarmanda, and we celebrate, which automatically gives us the Feet of Ice tablet as well.
All things considered, it makes sense. Although they kind of downplay it as, just remember, this is a weakened Valigarmanda that hasn't had any ether since it barely woke up. Yeah. This is not the same Valigarmanda your father fought.
No, that's the extreme version.
I feel like that's a very interesting dig, even though, hey, we did the thing.
Yeah, basically it's highlighting that Galul Jaja was a fucking Giga Chad.
Yeah, and also, again, it's one of the weird, negs against Wuklamat, which the fan base gives her enough that we don't need the game piling it on as well.
Oh, I'm just going to say this right now. Anyone who fucking disses on Wuklamat is either a transphobe or an asshole who doesn't understand anime tropes.
Yes, and the reason, and in case you're wondering why the fucking transphobe hates, because her voice actor is trans.
Yes.
Anyway, with the Feet of Ice accomplished, that leaves only
the Feet of Repast and the Feet of Brotherhood, which takes us to the Yaktail Forest.
Yes, and which is considered the home of the Jabral. For a lot of people, this is, if you didn't want to play a Hrothgar
from Boja.
From Boja, this is where your homeland is.
Oh, hello, Leo.
Yes, hello, Rei.
Hey, no, my Hrothgar is from Boja.
Yes, but you also decided to adopt Blue Mage, which is where those people are from.
Well, technically, they're from Yaktail. They're from the Americas.
Okay. Still, so we get to this area, which is, again, another sort of rainforest area, but it also has highlighted a lot of cenotes.
Yeah.
And it is actually pronounced that way because I went back and looked at the Wikipedia page for it. It's not a cenote, it's a cenote.
Yeah.
And so they actually warn you about the massive valleys which exist in the area.
Because of meteors that rained down in ancient times. And so basically the ground's eroded and there's giant sinkholes.
Mm-hmm. It also creates beautiful valleys with these water reserves inside of them.
And in the deeper forest, the forest glows an eerily luminescent blue
because of those meteorites which fell and are still there.
Yes.
Nonetheless, we're brought to the Jabral village and we meet with the
leader Humuruk,
who basically, the Feat of Repast is basically to create a dish, a traditional Jabral dish.
Shibruk
Pibir, which is based off of Puerco Pibir.
Yes.
Which is also prepared in a very similar fashion to how we eventually find out through the quest. Now, unlike in other quests, which are done solo, this one is specifically done in pairs.
Yeah, which turns out that Bakul Jaja doing that whole thing with Valigarmanda
was pointless!
Was pointless, because we needed everyone here to even start this fucking feat.
And would not start it without everyone else.
Yes.
boy, that's a massive plot hole that would have fucked everything up if he had thought about it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, the lots were to be decided by random. However, as fate would dictate it, Kona and Wuklamat would be paired up, leaving Bakul Jaja and Zaralja to be a pair who basically say, fuck this, we're not playing this game.
Yeah, they basically say, we know how Jibruk Pibil will be made, because we will figure it out ourselves.
No, they initially refused to work with each other before the...
Sarilja.
Before he reminds them, you don't work together, you get disqualified. It's like, fine.
Yeah, and they make a Jibruk Pibil, but it is not what we actually...
Well, we find out basically that it is a specific blend of spices and meat blend of spices that must be cooked
in an underground oven
covered in leaves,
in banana leaves specifically.
However, the problem is that the banana the forest the banana leaves have basically been on back order because of the catastrophe that occurred on the way over here.
Yeah.
And the path going into where the banana leaf forest is basically been blocked up, suspiciously along the same path that one would go to the Mamulja village. Interesting.
Yes.
Nonetheless, through discussions and talking with some of the people in the village,
as well as talking with Bruk Evu, who actually shows up again.
Wukevu and Huruk, we find out that the onus for the repast had to deal with
the war between the Jibral and the Mamulja,
which was peacefully negotiated by Gulul Jaja, who basically got both sides to sit down, shut up, and have a meal together.
Yes.
Which is where the exchange of
Najul leaves, basically Jatika banana, and Jibruk Pibil, where the meat from the Jibruk Pibil eventually gets made into.
The Jibruk, because it is... Ibruk, because that's literally their pork equivalent.
God, so, we sound weird just saying these names.
It's not that bad. I mean, it's Mesoamerican, so it makes sense.
Yeah, the names that I'm really going to be having difficulty saying are the ones in Jacques Tarral.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain in the ass, but that's more Native American for that reason. Anyway, we find out that the whole feast or repast is specifically meant to in honor of the memory of that feast, which brokered peace between the Jibral and the Mamulja, and consequently, we find a box containing not only remnants of some people who were there at the original feast, but also banana leaves.
Yes, which were left there by the proctor.
By Huruk.
By Humuruk.
Humuruk, yeah. And now we can go ahead and properly prepare Jibruk Pibil now that we have the lost banana leaves.
Yeah.
Which is the factor that Zaralja and Bakul Jaja did not have, because the proctor specifically made it so that way they could only acquire banana leaves had they decided to find out the past of the right of repast.
Yes.
Which is also where Kona realizes sort of his shortcomings. If he had attempted this on his own without going with his sister, he would not have been able to successfully recover the banana leaves, and he also would have failed.
Yes. He's starting to realize his own flaws. We should also mention that we kind of skipped this, but back during the Feat of Pots, when we were going to see Fontaine, Gulul Jaja had called us into his office, basically, and wanted to fight with us.
Oh, yes, and so we do a duel with Gulul Jaja. And during the boss fight, he tries to do some kind of magic martial attack, but he can't get the magic up for some reason.
Yeah, The thing is, people assume that the
wisdom head, the head, he has two heads: the head of resolve and the head of reason.
Yes, and the head of reason has been asleep this whole time because he's been feeling his years, and so he's wearing a shawl to reserve his magic energies, so to speak.
Yes.
So we do that, and after that conversation, he actually mentions that all 4 claimants are lacking in their ability to take up the throne,
and he hopes that through the competition that they will find what they're lacking and strengthen themselves as a result by the end.
And if they don't, he will not relinquish the throne to anyone. So, but anyway, this is what we mean by Kona starting to understand his shortcomings.
We also left out a bit of Kryle's side story, where Kryle basically presents the letter from her grandfather to Gulul Jaja, who basically says, "Yeah, I wrote that letter, but I can't tell you everything because it's going to ruin the fucking plot. So I will answer your questions if you manage to find the City of Gold."
Yes, and around this time, Mablu actually noticed the clover earring that Kryle has been wearing that was in the envelope that belonged to her grandfather.
She is eventually able to explain that it was sold in a Jabral village.
Yes, to which we find out that in this village that Galif, Kryle's grandfather, was actually wearing the earring while carrying around a little baby.
Which we at this point imply is Kryle.
Yes.
We also, and the final side speed we have to mention is that given the nature that Gulul Jaja is a Mamulja, his direct biological son is Zoralja.
Yes.
He specifically mentions that Kona and Wuklamat are adopted siblings.
Yeah.
Kona specifically was left behind by his own tribe, which has left him with a lot of fucking issues. And Wuklamat was also abandoned at his doorstep, and he took both of them in respectively.
But it's revealed that Humuruk is actually Wuklamat's biological father. He's not telling this to anyone but the Warrior of Light, because he reveals that his daughter was the subject of an assassination plot by Mamulja.
Basically, they knew that they wanted to go ahead and incite a war over resources and territory, and feel that targeting Wuklamat would, as the daughter of the chieftain of the Jabral, would be the best way to accomplish this. Rather than put his daughter in harm's way, Humuruk
offered him up to Gulul Jaja
to go ahead and raise as his own, not knowing that it would end up working out this way.
Yes.
However, he is happy to see his daughter and is glad not only that she is claimant, but also succeeding in his eyes at the task at hand.
However, one of Bakul Jaja's lackeys has overheard this
and immediately kidnaps Humuruk, which basically sends a message to Wuklamat saying, "You give me all your stones and I'll let Humuruk go."
To which Wuklamat has finally nutted up, so to speak,
and wants to go ahead and get back at Bakul Jaja for the earlier ambush, and does want to go ahead and save Humuruk, not because he's her father, but because it's the right thing to do.
Yes, and so we have an instance where we get to play as Wuklamat, and we get to see her start to reveal her true power, the power of friendship, so to speak.
Yeah, she does. Because there's an earlier instance in which one of the times we're wandering around Tuliolal and we get tacos, he bumps into Wuklamat and then steps on her tacos.
Yes, this is for the tacos!
And we see a drastic difference between her getting knocked back by him at the start versus her now, she's actually able to stand one-on-one with him.
I will say, I kind of wish in between these 2 points, there was a time where the Warrior of Light could have trained Wuklamat.
I do agree with you on that.
Yes. If there was like one of those, if there was just like that one step in between, like just an instance where we did some sparring, I think that would have made everything a lot more fun and would have shown Wuklamat's growth even more.
I also think that at least it's not hinted that Wuklamat has a strength deficiency. It's very much a confidence thing with her.
Oh yeah, we saw that in the final Endwalker patch. She could handle her own against that giant fucking bird.
Yes.
She just had the fucking shakes the whole time.
Right, and again, getting her nerves rattled and whatnot. Nonetheless, the Bakul Jaja's minions want to go ahead and still take the fight to her, but we're around and saying we're not letting that happen.
Yeah, they still try to get in and try to protect Bakul Jaja, but Wuklamat beats the living crap out of all of them. And we actually beat she actually beats Bakul Jaja so badly that he actually has a traumatic flashback of something, freaks the fuck out, and runs away.
Yeah, runs back home. We managed to go ahead and rescue Humuruk, who kind of goes ahead and confirms to Wuklamat that is the case, that he is her biological father. But
he more confirms that she is the Dawn Servant's father, and he is proud of her for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nonetheless, we go ahead and we finish that quest, reuniting with the party, explaining what happened, before moving on to the Rite of Brotherhood.
Which is in Mamuk. And it turns out that Bakul Jaja was the one that blocked off the way to Mamuk in the hopes of stalling everyone. But he ends up having to destroy the barrier
Himself
to get back home to sulk and whimper.
Which we eventually find out why. A lot of the Mamul... It turns out that the Mamulja village is located within a cenote and is basically covered for the most part by dense forest and underbrush. It cannot let light through, and it's very difficult to grow things down here.
Yeah, the ether and the poison is basically poison to a lot of plants, and basically the only thing that really grows there is the bananas.
Now, I will say, I think it's Grahatia eventually makes an appearance at some point, yes?
He doesn't show up until much later.
Okay, no, then I'm thinking, then it's one of the Alpha, it's either Alphino or Alice, or even Kona, I think.
No, if you're talking about how they figure out what's causing the issue, it is Kona and Aaronville that work together.
Kona and Aaronville do an analysis, and I think it's revealed that it's an aetheric imbalance, but specifically I want to bring up that it's lightning.
No, it's not lightning.
It's not lightning?
They do not say what the etheric imbalance is.
Okay.
They say, however, that there is a way that there are plants that can survive these environments,
right?
And that is actually the key part of the Mamulja Beast Tribe quest.
Okay. I just want to say it's lightning for reasons that you know later on.
No, but it's not.
It should be. It should be. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get to the Mamulja village, and no one wants to fucking talk with us.
Yes.
Aside from the fact that apparently they have a fucking hatred of outsiders, which is consistent with what we've been shown before, it's also revealed that the Mamulja elder, who is also the proctor for the trial of brotherhood,
is Bakul Jaja's father.
Who... First off, when we find him, we find that Zoralja is fighting an illusion of Bakul Jaja at his prime.
No, Galul Jaja.
Galul Jaja, sorry, at his prime and loses.
Yes.
Which disqualifies Zoralja from continuing the rite.
Mainly it's because that after...
He attempts to strike at the
proctor, yes.
Which disqualifies him outright from competition.
Mm-hmm.
And he berates his own son for failing up to this point, because I think he's only ever completed 2 rites properly.
Yes.
And even then, he basically gets the
banishment treatment.
The banishment treatment, to which we know that only his mother is sympathetic to his plight.
Yeah.
And Wuklamat, picking up on that, tries to get her to speak with us about what exactly is going on here. To which she says, you need to know what we have done to start off.
Which brings us to the Sky Deep Cenote, not the dungeon itself, but the actual area, where we actually find Bakul Jaja, and he is the one to explain what is the deal with Blessed Siblings.
So, what is known at this point is that Blessed Siblings are considered a rarity, and that it is not known how they come up. It is just known that when the 2 Mamulja tribes intermarry, there is a small chance, usually I think it's 1 in 1,000?
1 in 100.
1 in 100 chance of Blessed Siblings occurring.
Yes.
And these Blessed Siblings, because of their prodigious strength, magical and physical acumen, and most notably enhanced size, make them considered the ideal.
The ideal and leaders, pretty much.
Leaders.
But it turns out that 1 in 100 of these children ever are born because they die trapped in their shells.
Because the reason that they are such a rarity is not because because every other kid comes out the same. It's because every other kid does not get born.
Yes.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of stillborns inside Sky Deep Cenote when we go see it, and these are basically all Bakul Jaja's siblings.
Yes.
That never got a chance.
Right.
And so that is Bakul Jaja explains, for that reason, had he succeeded and become Dawn's servant, he would have made it so that way he would have tried to break the cycle and not require any more divine siblings, even though that would have only further perpetuated the myth amongst the tribes.
Yeah, he was doing it for his siblings, pretty much. He was doing it because his father pushed him to do it. He did it because of its supposed moral obligation.
Because he was, and this is something that he also explains, because he is the one who did it, he felt responsible from the parental pressure of his father to what his mother most likely suffered through, and all the trauma related to growing up in that kind of a household led him down this path.
Yes.
And that he only wants to see that the cycle gets broken.
Yeah, well, now that he does, originally he was thinking like he was just doing this for the siblings, he was doing it for the tribe. Now he just wants this to end because he has been broken.
Yes.
And so he wants this to end, and he is saying that the line of blessed siblings ends with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, we basically form a truce with Bakul Jaja, and he basically gives us one of his mixed-colored scales to use as a sign to the other people of Mamuk to kind of bring them together to figure out what can we do to solve this issue.
And so part of the reason why they were so gung-ho for Bakul Jaja is because of the fact that because of the etheric imbalance in their region, they can't grow anything. Therefore, they have to rely on raiding the Zabral village and the rest of Tuliolal in order to get what they need in order to survive. Rather than do that, our party, along with Kona assisting, basically finds out ways that the Mamulja tribe can assist them only if they agree to go ahead and support Wuklamat.
Yes.
And while a lot of them are still skeptical about it, they do find that some proof is offered in the form of assistance from Aaronville and Kona,
who basically say, in Charlian, we have a giant seed vault. We know of plants that can survive in this type of environment. And just like how tomatoes and popotos were brought to Eorzea from the New World, we can bring stuff from our world back to the New World, and you can have a better life.
Yes.
And again, that is the Mulmul Beast Tribe quest, which I would recommend you do because it does kind of capstone a lot of the tensions and stuff that actually happen in this area. Because there is even an actual interaction with Humuruk and the leader of Mamuk.
With the people rallying behind Wuklamat, the party eventually decides that they're ready to go ahead and confront the Path of Brotherhood. The only problem is that there's not enough bodies to do the test. The party of 5 may not be enough to defeat Gulul Jajani's prime, to which Kona offers his aid.
But he does it in a pretty badass way.
Well, the proctor says claimants can't go ahead and team up with each other. This is a solo test, to which Kona tosses his own tablet up in the air
and
shoots it, and then claims he's withdrawing from the competition to assist Wuklamat's claim.
Yes, which is a fucking badass move.
It is a very cool claim, and that is what triggers before going into before the trial starts.
Yeah.
And now we get basically a recap of that original fight with Gululja, except this time this is his full-powered version, and he does pull off the combo attack properly.
Which basically, he creates a giant fucking magical sword that Wuklamat basically creates an LB3 to tank.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by doing that, she has proven that she is just as strong, if not stronger, than her father.
Mm-hmm. And combined with the rest of the efforts of the party, manages to complete
the Feat of Brotherhood.
The Feat of Brotherhood, which gives us the last tablet.
Which, the leader is not too happy about this, but we kind of start to warm him up to the idea.
And at the same time, finally, he graces us with his presence, but an old Rugadin, and this is where everyone fucking lost their minds, because this is the first time in the entirety of Final Fantasy XIV does Rugadin get actually pronounced in-game.
Yes.
Which everyone thought was Rogadin before.
Yes. We end up meeting Ketenram, the famous Luminson explorer that has been referenced multiple times on his trips to the New World.
And was thought to be lost at sea because he never came back. It turns out he just ended up taking an extended vacation in Tuliolal at the behest of his best friend Gulul Jaja.
Yes.
And he explains that he actually went to the Golden City with Gulul Jaja and can confirm it exists, but also that he knew of certain key events as to why the test has been structured in this way.
Yes. And so he basically hints at the fact that deep within the cenote might be the path to the Golden City.
And thus leads us to the next dungeon, which is Sky Deep Cenote.
which is a pretty interesting dungeon.
It is also the first dungeon where we began to experience our dungeon troubles.
Yes.
So, just as a refresher in terms of how we actually go about this, most of the time we are doing MSQ. We are doing this stuff together. We get together once a night. We do a couple of storyline quests, and we try to make it to the dungeon and trials as needed as they come up. So it usually takes us a couple of weeks to get through content for an episode. And so starting from this dungeon on, we keep getting matched up. Usually it's you, me, and we usually get one of our other friends to join us.
Yeah, usually like Lumi or Mel. They're usually healing while I'm tanking and you're doing DPS.
Occasionally we get Haruna on, but the point is that usually there's only 3 of us, so we don't have a full light party, which means that we usually getting up randos for the 4th one, and just from this point on, the randoms have been horrible.
Oh yeah, they do not know what they're doing. It really gets worse with
Vanguard.
Not Vanguard, Orogenics.
Orogenics, yes, you're right. Orogenics.
It gets really bad with Orogenics and the trial immediately after because we got the same exact person.
Yes, and even though the trial is an 8-man, it still doesn't help because that trial is woof.
That trial can be woof, yeah.
But yes.
Getting back to Sky Deep Cenote, the first boss is the Follow Rei, which is another Final Fantasy IX boss. And its thing is it'll basically turn us into PvP targets, where we will actually cause an attack similar to what it just activated.
Correct.
Which is, again, I've seen so many people die to this boss. It is not funny.
Yes.
And then the next boss is
that a giant mecha? It's firearms.
It's firearms. And the thing with it is that it fires lasers at energy balls, but in order to hit the energy balls, it bounces off mirrors.
Yep.
And so you basically got to know where the laser is going to point. It's basically a 1-2 ball hit explode.
Yes.
And so you just got to know which ball is going to explode. And so it's easy to figure out, but again, we keep getting idiots.
Yes. And then we get to the last boss, which is Skull.
And I remember this fight. I wiped several times my first attempt on it because no one knew how to handle the freaking the knockback.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's also a Titan It's also a Titan Savage reskin.
Yes, it is. It is quite a difficult fight because I think the other DPS kept getting knocked off.
Yeah, I don't think they were alive for most of that fight. I think you were the one doing most of the DPS.
Yes, but it kind of was marginal because I was playing Viper, so...
I mean, Viper is one of the better DPS.
Exactly, so it kind of worked out in the end. But at the end of the dungeon, we come across this massive gate where you step inside...
And there's this strange...
black stone with purple energy coursing through it.
Yeah, and I love how Alex says, "Don't tell me it's the Alligans again."
Surprisingly, it is not this time, for reasons we'll get into later. But there is a pedestal with 7 tablet spaces inside of them. And so by putting in the tablets in ascending order to the trials, we eventually unlock the gate to what we find to be the entrance to the Golden City.
Which will not open, but because we got there, Galul Jaja shows up and says, "Ha ha ha! You did it! You found the Golden City!"
And says that we have successfully claimed the right of succession. He also I don't remember if he tells us or if we have an echo vision.
Oh no, yeah, we have an echo vision later of how the gate opens up and stuff like that.
Okay.
At first, no, we don't have an echo vision. He just tells us we found the gate to the Golden City. Come back to Tuliolal and let's have the inauguration ceremony.
Right. To which Kona is happy that his sister won, but he's a little despondent. Also because Wuklamat, so excited with everything going on, wants to go ahead and name us as some kind of leader as well, because she can't imagine running this thing without us.
Yeah.
But we kind of are also in a position of like, look, we're on vacation. We weren't even signing up for this.
We're on vacation. Our thing is traveling and dungeon running, and occasionally gathering and crafting.
Also, by this time, she considers the rest of the Scions to be family, and thus encourage them to address her as Lamati.
Yes.
Which is her pet name and only reserved by
family members.
By Golul Jaja and Kona.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Wuklamat has her own plans in mind, as when it comes to the inauguration, not only does she announce that she is going to accept the mantle Dawn Servant, she specifically is accepting the mantle of Vow of Resolve, and then announces that by her first decree as Dawn Servant, she is making her brother Kona co-emperor, basically.
Yeah.
As the Vow of Reason.
Yes. To which he is like, "Are you sure you want this?"
And which she reveals that the marker set to go into Tuliolal, which would show her winning the right of succession, shows her and Kona reaching up to a tablet in the sky, which is to represent her succeeding.
Yes.
And and that is how she proves that she is certain she wants her brother to co-rule with her.
Yes. And so he accepts. Golul Jaja says, "This is great. My brother would be proud."
To which he goes ahead and makes the grand reveal that the head of reason has been dead for several years.
Yes.
And that is at least part of the reason why he couldn't get his magic up.
Yes.
And
this is the reason why the trial, he wanted to do the
right of succession.
Yes.
And he explains that that for some time his heads have been waning, and that longer and longer until eventually a point where basically that head is dead.
Yes. And so before the head of reason passed away, he created the trial. And when he died, he left his brother to do the job.
Right.
Sneaky bastard, as he says.
He also mentions that, or Luke Lamont also mentions that ever since the head of reason was waning, Papa was getting more headstrong and engaging in more duels.
Yes.
Which is at least part of the reason why she's upset that he's so battle happy. Where the tree, the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree in that regard.
Yeah, I mean,
tell me that it's weird that when Pokemon Scarlet came out, it's like, two battle-heavy Latinas between Wuklamat and Nimona.
And then we get a battle-hungry French lady in ZA.
Yes.
What is with battle-hungry female characters lately?
I don't want to know.
It's apparently a thing.
Yes. Nonetheless, the party goes ahead and still says they want to spend time in and around Tuliolal. Our job opening with Wuklamat is still open. However, because of all the chaos going on, we never got to go to Jacques Tural.
Yes.
We've only been exploring the lower continent
of Yogg-Tural.
And therefore, Wuklamat agrees to go ahead and let us explore the northern continent, where apparently Eredville does have business to do up there. And so he asks us to accompany along his support, and he will act as travel guide.
And so we head into Shaloni, which is basically home for us.
It is literally the Southwest United States. Literally, pick your idyllic spaghetti western, like Gold Rush era desert town, and that is what Shaloni is.
There is pueblos. There's
dusty canteens. There are sabotenders.
Yes.
Massive fucking. It's basically the American Southwest, downright to the extent that there's lawlessness afoot.
Yes, and so we have a little mini
side quest where basically a young kid has been claiming that his friends have been improperly locked up and that there's corruption afoot from the Dust Watch, which is the local town guard.
Yes.
Through adventuring with him, we do find out that the bandits have infiltrated the Dust Watch and are basically bullying other townsfolk into letting their banditry
go
unabated. By investigating and rescuing the young, I forgot what his name is, the young kid who we're basically helping out on these quests. Zekawa. We go ahead and we expose the corruption and manage to go by revealing that the second in command deputy
Wahute.
is in fact the leader of the bandits and has been playing both sides to let his gang prosper.
And so we basically figured it out, and in order to settle it once and for all, there is a duel that happens in the middle of town where Zekoa confronts Wahute in a one-on-one showdown with rubber bullets for some fucking reason.
Right. Well, apparently they don't want to do it. They've had enough to the death tournaments to where it's like, no, we're not doing this. Rubber bullets, both of you. I don't want to be patching you up when this is over.
Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous in a little way.
I feel like if I was going on like a
rubber bullets can still kill.
Yeah, they can, but not likely to, especially in a land where magic exists.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, they end up going ahead. Wahute gets defeated. I forgot what the kid's name again is.
Zekoa.
Zekoa's friends are freed, and things are restored just in time for the trains to be hopefully back in town and up and running.
Yes, and we should mention that we were also helping Wuklamot's nursemaid,
Namika, who had a bracelet that was given to Wuklamot, to her, stolen by the bandits.
Because Namika was on her way back to her hometown via the train.
Yes.
And when we get to the train area, we actually meet up with the Trolley Boys.
Yes, the Trolley Boys... Source incarnations.
Yes, they're Source counterparts.
And we literally get the flashback to their incarnations in the first, to which we asks, I'm sorry, but are you guys obsessed with trolleys by chance?
Trolleys? No. Trains? Yes.
Yes. And Magnus's wife lives in this timeline.
Yes, and thankfully she doesn't have a death flag on her, despite how it feels like sometimes.
So they basically say the
Oh, I should also mention that Nitoikwe, Walika's wife, is also a custom delivery quest.
Yes. We also, during this side quest, talk with a friend of Aaronville, now whose actual name is Eleneshpia, who basically explains that Kahikwa was here a little while ago, but she went back to Yasulani.
Yes.
And so that is at least where Aaronville wants to go. The train to Yasulani is under repairs because the various elemental disturbances from the start of the game have disrupted most of the trains, and they need more wood if they're going to go ahead and repair the trains.
To which we go to the Hitsaro Mikote
homeland,
which are a bunch of traveling tents and stuff.
Which we meet with the tribe leader and his son, manage to go ahead and deal with some pesky monster problems, and managed to secure the lumber necessary to go ahead and could proceed with the repairs.
Yes.
We unfortunately do not have any room to get on the immediate train over, but they promise us to give us free passage on the next trip over.
Yes.
To which, while we wait, we go ahead and we reminisce. We get told about Aaronville's relationship with Kahikwa.
His mother,
as well as his mentor, and the one who basically encouraged him to go on the naturalist path, which led him to being a gleaner. And just as we're about waiting for the train to come back, does an elemental discharge shoot off in Yasulani, and it becomes Revenge of the Stormtroopers.
Well, first off, it becomes encased in a giant electrical dome. We should also mention that during the celebration of the inauguration of Wuklamot, Zoralja
goes over to fucking Kettenram, murks him, and then proceeds to go ahead and take what appears to be another set of the tablets, opens the gate to the Golden City, has Zoralja magic it open, and then he kicks him off the fucking bridge.
He has Zoralja give him what basically is the key to opening the gate.
Which was in Kettenram's protection.
Well, no, it was actually in the royal treasury, but it was stolen.
Okay.
But basically, Zoralja gives him the treasure, and Zoralja murks Zoralja.
Yes.
And so,
using the key opens the gate to the Golden City, and that is where we're left off before all this chaos happens.
Yes. So the lightning dome comes down, and a bunch of flying ships come in with strange white armored
mechs coming out, and not just murking people, but stealing their souls.
Yes.
To which everyone is fucking panicked. Everyone's wondering what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, we run back to the main Capitol building. Along the way, we see a strange woman dressed in royal garb, and we're like, what the heck is going on?
She looks like a VTuber, though.
Yes, she does.
Nonetheless, we put an end to the chaos in Tuliolal. We try to go ahead and keep the people calm, and Wuklamat is put to her first test as Dawn Servant.
Well, what happens is when we're in the main... in the Volokshunsa, the main temple of it, we encounter
Gululjaja and Zoralja fighting, except Zoralja's, like, massive and decked out in future tech armor.
To which he ends up fighting Gululjaja.
And loses, but gets brought back by some kind of device on his head that seems to be cybertech.
Yes, he revives, the device turns red, and he suddenly turns feral and actually defeats Gululjaja,
Yes,
killing him.
Much to the horror of Kona and Wuklamat.
Yes.
They try to stop him there, but basically the defense of the city is more important. He's allowed to get away, and now Wuklamat and Kona have their first trial as Dawn Servant.
Yep, which is basically, we are going to take the fight to them, and we are going to kick their ass.
So, luckily, the good news is that the train did make it out of Yasolani before the disruption occurred, but no one knows what knows what has happened to anyone who was in Yasolani when the barrier went up.
They've also realized that there is now a base along the train tracks that serves as a border between inside the dome and outside of it. And so they figure, why not use the train as a bomb to blast our way in?
With the assistance of all the other tribes as well as the locals to go ahead and reinforce the train, they go ahead and turn it into a massive war bullet, while Kona goes ahead and prepares defense for Tuliolal in case the invaders come back.
Yeah, we keep skipping around, but it's also around this time that Y'shtola and Grahatia also show up.
Because magical ether disturbances are their forte, and they are more than happy to go ahead and help.
It's also revealed that Kryl is actually from wherever the Golden City leads to.
And that what happened is that a pair of Lullafels come out of the portal when Gululjaja and company find it. They approach Ketenram and ask them to take their daughter.
Well, not Ketenram. They give it to Galuf.
Oh, Galuf, sorry.
They give their daughter to Galuf, and they give the key to Ketenram.
Yes.
And so they end up going back. And so basically, Y'shtola theorizes that wherever this gate is, it leads to another reflection.
Yes, and that Kryl herself is a child from another reflection, much like how Grahatia is.
Yes.
Nonetheless, everyone wants to go ahead and get in. We go ahead and we have a cutscene showing fighting on the train as we go ahead and we're barreling down, and we end up managing to get close enough to where Magnus's wife goes ahead and sets the train to explode, tells everyone to get the fuck out.
We get off, and so begins the
Vanguard,
the next dungeon. And whoo boy, BGM 100.
Yes, no, this is a fantastic one, but boy howdy, do we still have some interesting fights going on.
First off, we have one of those mechs on a bike, which will do a circular attack with a blade sticking out, and you basically just gotta figure out if the blade is circular,
inward or outward.
Inward or outward. It also does crosshairs. It does big AOEs.
It's basically a bigger fight of like we've had them in, I think, Stormblood, where it was like the motor racers or the
yes. It was kind of like that. And then, what's the next boss called?
The Protector.
Oh god, that one's fun.
Yes.
How about spinning around? The boss is doing a spinning laser attack, and you have to go around it while dodging electric fences.
Not to mention the motion-sensitive bombs.
Motion-sensitive bombs, and the clusterfuck of lasers that just keep appearing and appearing and appearing.
Yep.
That one, this is where the difficulty starts to spike up.
Yes. And then the last one is the Ophidian Outrider, Xander the Snake Skinner.
To which, it just seems like a normal guy at first. We kick his ass easily, but he revives.
And then he becomes a giant snake man.
He basically says, "You'll pay for making me use this many souls." and we end up having to do it. His interesting move is the Sidewinder attack, where he'll basically go left side, right side, right side.
And he does this in a serpentine line as opposed to a straight line.
Yes.
So you have to dodge it along making sure you're on the right side of the curve.
Yes.
But he's not too bad aside from the fake out second phase.
Yeah, the fake out second phase where he will do sweep attacks either in front or behind him and do a slam attack down, and that slam attack will spread out and then explode and take up half the screen.
Yep. But nonetheless, we managed to go ahead and defeat him, and we end up going into Yasolani.
Technically, it's now called Heritage Found.
Yes, as we find out that not only is everything different compared to how it was, it's also incredibly Levin charged.
Yes.
Everything is constantly thunderstorming.
Is constantly thunderstorming, and we go to the first area, which is Yasolani Station, and we see that it looks old and decrepit and run down and abandoned.
And we have to go into the next area before we encounter anyone who's surprisingly friendly.
And it turns out that the person we meet is the Queen of Alexandria.
Sphene. Queen Sphene explains that she is the Queen of Resolve, married to the King. The Queen of Reason, married to the King of Resolve, Zoralja.
Yes.
Which is weird. And she explains that she did this for the peace of her kingdom.
Basically, she's saying that he came in and she had no choice but to let him be ruler, which I'm wondering, what the heck did he do?
More importantly, how the heck did he marry a human? We also at this point find out that she is aware that there's been some kind of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, and explains that the people who were here have been welcomed into Alexandrian society, and we get a long introduction into how everything works. We basically, as we go along and meet her in the next settlement,
the outskirts,
Graha pulls us aside and basically notes how ether charged of Levin it is in the area.
He also mentions how the sudden appearance of Alexandria itself is reminiscent of how the Crystal Tower appeared in the first.
In short, he basically is theorizing we've entered another reflection.
Or at least another reflection has entered the source, which he equates to a rejoining.
Yes, but it's only partial given the nature of everything.
Right.
Nonetheless, we go ahead and we meet the people of the 6th, who basically...
No, it's not the 6th.
It's not the 6th?
No. I'm not going to tell you what the reflection is, but...
Okay. My understanding is that this is the 6th.
No.
Where Kryle's parents are the 6th.
No. I'm just going to tell you right now. This is the 9th reflection.
Okay, this is the 9th.
This is part of the 9th reflection.
Okay, 6, 9, same difference.
I hate you.
So we're in the 9th reflection.
Well, we're in the source, but part of the 9th reflection has come here. There is a distinct difference, and I need you to understand that.
Okay, we're going on 6-9 territory.
Oh, God damn it.
We're going with this bit now. I hope you realize that.
No. It's not 6-9. It's 6-7 now, don't you know?
No. My joke is better.
I know.
Okay, but anyway,
I'm just trying to be relevant.
I know. So we're in a pocket dimension of the 9th.
Yes.
That happens to be... I'm referring to it as the 9th simply because it is easier to picture. Anyway, they explained that they basically came from a world that got Levin ravaged. Yes. And that at the same time, they basically couldn't do jack shit because too much Levin in the ether causes an imbalance, as we know from the first.
Yes.
Now, what happened is that they did manage to find something called electrope, which is a super metal that basically absorbs all Levin energy it takes in and can then convert it into any other elemental energy.
Yes.
Which allowed them to basically repurpose the massive amount of Levin into the amount of ether energy they didn't have.
Yes, and basically made a technological utopia. However, we don't go into the technological utopia yet.
We're just on the outskirts where we basically introduce their farming and agricultural practices.
Yes, and while we're there, we explore everything. We see everyone has those weird things on their head. We end up finding out that it basically has been 30 years, a time difference between what's in the dome and what's outside.
We're talking outside maybe 3 days?
About 3 days.
To more or less prepare the train for the Savage Run after the dome went up. So 3 days to 30 years is a massive jump.
And so we explore the outskirts. We end up finding out that Namika was here,
trapped by the dome, and that she was living amongst the Alexandrians, but because of the 30-year time skip, she's basically at the end of her life.
And so Wuk-Lamat ends up having to stay with her to the end of her days, and we end up hearing things like soul cells, like would help prolong her, maybe not, or so.
Right. Apparently, those devices that they have on their head are some kind of medical device. However, once Namika passes, everyone immediately who has those devices forgets who she is.
Yes.
Which is incredibly alarming for the rest of the party, and begins to trigger the, oh shit, something's wrong about this place.
And so, when that happens, Steen says, oh, while you're waiting for
permission to enter
Solution 9, just wait around here, meet with people, interact, and then we encounter a strange little robot.
Looks like one of the square holotrons from the Omega, not the Omegaverse, sorry.
From the Omega raids.
From the Omega raids, but it has the projected arms like Rayman and a little hover module.
Yeah.
And it's spying on the party. To which Aaronville looks after and says, chase it, it's spying on us.
Yes.
We chase it down to a cave system where we get confronted by a bunch of rebels. And the robot pops out and says, don't hurt them. They have my fussy little bun.
So yeah, it turns out that this weird little robot is Kakiwa.
Or rather, Kakiwa is controlling it at the very least. And she introduces herself to the party, as well as everyone to Oblivion, which is the resistance group here in in the area, in Alexandria.
In Alexandria, yeah.
They explained that the main team is located inside Solution 9, but that they have an outskirts team here to basically go ahead and keep track on the outskirts.
Their main goal originally was to prevent the unification of interdimensional fusion.
Which is basically what their word for rejoining is, as well as to go ahead and try and find out what's been going on inside Solution 9 with the soul cells.
With the soul cells and the... But basically, their mission lately has been to stop Zeralja and his fucking warmongering.
Right. And Kahiwa basically explains that while she goes ahead and tries to make sure the party gets in faster into Solution 9, they recommend seeking out one of her friends who can better explain some of the technology that the soul cells... I forget what the head device is.
Regulator.
The regulators and the soul cells work. And so we go out and meet this friend of Kakiwa's, who basically explains that soul cells are basically processed souls that are then cleansed of memory, refurbished, and then given to people as resources, either for pay or for reward.
And basically they serve as insurance against death.
Not just insurance against death, but can also be used to power up people, as beast souls get used to go ahead and give enhancements.
Which are then used in the Arcadian.
However, because Zeralja is a warmonger and refuses to indulge in entertainment, he has restricted the use of he has closed the Arcadian down and kept all the beast souls for his warriors.
Yes.
But there are still regular soul cells that are given out to people for pay, as well as to basically give them a long life. This causes more questions for the party, but at this point, everything is ready for us to enter Solution 9.
Yes, I will mention that a lot of this stuff was kind of brought up in the Endwalker patch quests. Because the whole thing was souls and memories. And
with the way the 14th, not the 14th.
The 13th.
The 13th was working.
Yeah, the 14th is the source.
The 13th, basically the 13th works in a similar fashion, but just more primal, more fantasy-driven. This is way more sci-fi.
This is way more sci-fi, more mechanical, more sterile.
To wit, basically we go ahead and we approach... we go back to the gate into Solution 9, and we are allowed in as guests of Queen Sphene.
Yes. And so we enter not the final area, but
the other main hub world, which was Solution 9.
And what do you think of this place?
So this is very much like we know you've all missed like the Final Fantasy VII like scene, so we're going to give you our own version of Cyberpunk.
Yes.
I should also mention at this point that Wuk-Lamat has a very conflicted thoughts about Sphene at this point. She genuinely does think Sphene cares for her people, as she knows a lot of them by name and knows a lot of their personal troubles. But she is concerned about her teaming up with Zeralja.
Yes.
And there's very much a lot of Wuk-Lamat is coming into her own as a ruler, even going drastically different from when she started, of believing everyone at their word.
Yes, she is going I want to learn about the people of Alexandria and what their problems and their troubles are before I make my decision.
Now, we go into Solution 9, we learn, we see the culture, we see everyone here, and we're explained that the part of the reason things go the way they do is because they are processed to fuck from what's harvested in the outskirts before it's being brought in.
Yeah.
We're given an option to taste a number of food products in Solution 9.
I tried the grapes.
What did I get? The meat?
No, Wuklamat got the meat. I think you got the energy bar.
Oh, I got the energy bar, and it's like, this thing has a lot of nutrients, but it's completely tasteless.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things to where all the residents wanted to see your reaction to it.
Yeah, which is like, they like seeing new people's reactions, which is an interesting trait of them.
It's also maybe a commentary about reaction culture in general, Rei.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe
too meta. Let's move on into the cyberpunk dystopia.
Okay.
Also, I would like to bring out this point. You decided to go balls to the fucking wall and just arbitrarily buy me the cyberbike.
Oh, yes, I did. I spent 7.5 million gil on the cyberbike for him.
You know, casually, as you do.
I mean, I wanted to do something nice for you.
Well, it was much appreciated.
Yes, and please tell me you use it.
Yes, I do.
Good.
Nonetheless, it was very. We get shown all the teleporters and all the transformation stuff, but we are also do see some of the flaws. One of the visits that we do is we accompany Queen Sphene on a home visit to a disabled boy who suffers from Levin sickness.
Basically saying that because there's so much lightning energy in the air of this place, people are starting to be born with paralysis, cannot walk, cannot talk, are basically vegetables.
Yes, and so apparently Queen Sphene takes visits to this one particular family, one particular single mother and her kid who she knows, and they go ahead and have conversation about trying to make sure that he gets his medicine.
Yes. I wonder how we could cure an imbalance of ether like that.
It's almost as if we would need a magic flying pig of some sort.
Yes.
I'm assuming we would come back here in the patch.
Yes.
Okay. With that being said, we do have some questions because while we're wandering about, we are also waiting for Kahikwa to go ahead and give us the all clear to go ahead and meet with the rest of the people
in the back rooms.
In the back rooms for Oblivion.
Yes.
And at the same time, as Queen Sphene departs from us, who do we come across?
But a little blue-scaled Hubigo.
With Bunigua traits.
Yes.
And we follow him, and it turns out he just appeared one day, but there's no way that he could be nothing but the son of Zoralja.
Yeah.
And this boy's name? Galulja.
Named after his grandfather.
Which is rather interesting.
But keep in mind, he wasn't named by Zoralja, he was named by Kakiwa.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
we go into the back rooms. We see Kahikwa once again in her robot form. She refuses to show us where she is, but she assures us she's fine.
Yeah, and then we also meet up with Shale and Geode, who will be our representatives of Oblivion from here on.
We also meet another reflection of everyone's favorite drunken blacksmith,
Geralt, Shard of Geralt.
Yep, and
Shard of Geralt.
And also, rather than being addicted to alcohol, he is addicted to energy drinks.
Energy drinks that make you burst with energy like a fucking rainbow Super Saiyan.
Yes, and so one of our side quests is to go grab him an energy drink, to which we're also given one as well. But the bartender, knowing the strength of whatever he gives Geralt, gives us a basic beginner bitch one, so that way we don't have a heart attack and die.
Yeah.
Does that mean Geralt is drinking Four Locos?
I think he is.
And not the new stuff. He's drinking the OG recipe.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it's strong enough to make us go Super Saiyan, imagine what the stuff he's drinking doing.
Exactly.
But anyway, I am shocked he is not part of the Relic Weapon quest line.
Amazing, he is not.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we go ahead and continue. We continue exploring about, and we find out that Galulja seems to escape from the city at random times, and no one knows where he goes.
Yeah.
Wuklamat, wanting to connect with basically the only family, the next descendant of Zoralja, decides to go after him as he seems to be out in the outskirts.
Yes, because he overheard that Wukalat is going to want to kill his father.
Right.
And so he ran away, and so he's run off to the outskirts, and we chase after him. When we find him, however, we find out that he is being protected by a strange mech.
One more thing before we go into that. We come across a group of scrappers outside on the outskirts, one of whom is a blind Mikote.
Vieira.
Blind Vieira, sorry. Which makes me kind of think that this is Y'shtola's shard.
You think it's Y'shtola's shard, huh?
Yes. But nonetheless, the blind wise woman points us in the direction of Zoralja, to which we have to, Gululja, and we have to do another stealth section to track him down to his little homestead, where, yes, he is being under the watch of a mechanical robot by the name of Otis.
Sir Otis Villona, captain of the Royal Knights of Alexandria.
To which he goes ahead and once we show that we mean no harm to him or Master Gululja, he goes ahead and offers to treat us to a repast, provided we can find a heat.
We can get the meat for it.
If we can get the meat for it.
Yeah. Gululja is going to go get the vegetables from scraps he's often offered from the people at the outskirts. We go with Alize to find the meat, and then when we come back to have the meal with everyone, Otis starts regaling about how he came to be, mainly how there was during the Storm Surge, which is the war that the Ninth was going through,
as well as what led to the Elemental Crisis, that he was drafted, or he volunteered for an experimental program to go ahead and transfer people's souls into robots.
Which also was part of the procedure to create what is known as the Endless, beings of pure memory that were separated from their souls and live off of the ether of the living. And he basically reveals that Queen Sphene passed away and was turned into an Endless and now serves as the guardian queen of Alexandria.
Yes.
And her desire is to protect both the living and the Endless of her nation.
Right. Although that seems to be in conflict because the Endless live off of the living.
Yes.
And that, as we eventually find out later, there's more Endless than there are living.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we go ahead and we have a meal with Gululja, and he gets to know Wuklamat, and he slowly warms up to her, being that he knows his dad is a deadbeat because he doesn't even acknowledge his existence.
Right.
And so while he understands not wanting to kill his dad, he also thinks that Wuklamat would be a good leader.
Yes. And so they start to warm up together. And so we start making our way back to Solution 9. Along the way, we run into Sphene, who keeps trying to convince us to become Alexandrian citizens, which is very weird, but because she's trying to want to say something to us, but she keeps not being able to say it because there are often guards around that are under the control of Zoralja, and so she can't actually say what's on her mind.
And she also has her own conflict, so it seems. However, it's at this point that we are eventually told that Zoralja has had enough waiting around, and he's gonna go do another raid on Tuliolal.
To which Wuklamat and the Warrior of Light rush in to stop him and basically confront him so that he will fight Wuklamat one-on-one, and that will prevent us from attacking Tuliolal. It does not work, however, because when Wuklamat actually does manage to break his regulator, he says, "Fuck this, fire all cannons on Tuliolal."
To which thankfully, because of Y'shtola's preparation as well as Kona's cooperation with the remaining beast tribes, everyone is ready for war when the guards attack again, this time actually being repelled with everyone's cooperation, including Bakul Jajad basically going front and center and sweeping up soldiers throughout the streets of Tuliolal.
And just when Ketan Ram starts wondering, what the hell are we going to do about the giant warships in the sky, Alphino says, we have a contingency.
To which Estinian and Varja...
Estinian's out in Shaloni. Vitra
comes back along with his sister who's staying with Kona.
Yes. So Richa comes in, along with a lot of his dragon children, come in and start wailing on the warships. And basically, Alpino says that Tuliolal has entered into an alliance with Rei'tan.
Yes, which has gained them this favor. To which, unfortunately, one of the soldiers next to Zoralja has to report their defeat.
To which he ends up getting killed. Revived.
And then killed again.
And then his regulator is confiscated.
Yes. To which Zoralja basically begins even lashing out at Sphene because he is taking it out on her citizens.
And she does not like that. She says, "You promised you would not harm our citizens." To which she says, execute Order 66.
And then orders his own mechanized troops to begin slaughtering Alexandrian citizens within Solution 9 to go ahead and build up his soul cell reserve.
Yes.
To which Sphene is shocked and horrified, but we also see that Sphene would rather see her citizens safe than go to war.
Yes. We should also mention that Galulja tries to come in and stop his father from doing this stuff, to which he gets grabbed by the head and used as a shield to prevent Zoralja from being harmed as he makes his escape.
Yes.
Which is fucking...
Yeah, he really goes downhill.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, this leads us to an instance in which we're basically fighting our way through Solution 9 to go ahead and clear a path to the massive elevator system that would take us up to where Galulja resides.
Yes, but first, we should also mention that Otis actually gets overridden by Zoralja's commands because he is a robot knight of Alexandria.
Correct.
And
he is programmed to listen to any of the king's commands.
And so, when we go in to save the people from the attacks, we end up fighting Otis, and Sphene ends up managing to break him out of that control. To which a giant lightning wolf, comes in to try to attack everyone,
and thus the actual boss fight begins.
To which Otis protects Sphene while we take care of the monster.
Yes.
And as a result, Otis ends up losing his life.
In order to protect Sphene from the assault.
Which, thinking about it, Sphene was not in any harm.
Not in any real danger, just perceived. But this is the point at which because Sphene, normally under this situation, should be like, oh hell no, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to help you guys. But Sphene is reluctant to go ahead and raise a hand against Zoralja.
And so she says, there's something I must do, and so she fucks off to do whatever that is.
To go tend to the people is what basically how it's pronounced. We are also, one of the other instances of Sphene prior to the massacre is a gentleman who basically complains about having a lack of soul cells, and that he's worried about true and honest death.
Yeah, because he's a fighter at the Arcadian.
And Sphene is unable to really give him the consolation she wants. Although it's hinted it's not because that she can't, it's more that she doesn't want to, and we don't really find out why until later.
Yes.
What we do know is we do regroup back with
Oblivion,
but there's one other cutscene that we need to go over, and that's Aaronville is walking in Solution Line by himself and comes across a neighbor from Yasulani.
Yes, and so he runs in and says, "Hey, do you know where my mother is?" And they're like, "Your mother? Who is she again?"
And based on what we know about what happens with memories when people die, Aaronville is completely fucking destroyed.
He's like, oh shit.
He has a mini crash out, and for future scenes, up until we enter the final area, he basically enters his emo phase. Validly, though.
Enters, you say?
Yes.
You mean he wasn't already crawling in his skin from the start?
Oh no, he is going full bring me to life at this stage. he has joined the Black Parade when he has this crash out.
Regardless, Oblivion now tells us that the only way to get up to the upper floor where Zoralja is to go through a facility known as Orogenics.
Which is basically the plant that actually is responsible for taking souls, cleansing them of their memories, and processing them into soul cells. And explains that the entire way is basically a giant elevator in and of itself, because it directly goes up Alexandria's floor from base up to the fabled 12th floor. They only have records up to 11.
Yes.
And so basically theorizes that you should be able to go up that way all the way to Zoralja.
And so we do, because that is the level 99 dungeon.
Origenics. And by golly, was this one a pain in the ass.
Yes, it was a pain in the ass, only because our fucking red mage was half asleep.
Yes, our red mage was half asleep. I think we did this at like 9?
Yeah, we did it at about 9 or so.
And this guy just could not get his ass together.
No, the first boss is actually not that hard. If you just know which side he's slamming on,
yes,
you just need to be on the opposite side.
Oh, by the way, shout out because it is a Kulane rework or Kulane clone.
It's actually a it's not Kukulane. It's actually a rework of the final boss from Holminster.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Ophelia.
Yes,
it's
right.
Ophelia rework.
Yes.
But yes, that boss is not that hard if you know what you're doing. Just remember to go left or right, people.
Yes.
The next boss is the Deceiver.
Yes, it looks kind of like a Metal Gear Solid 4 enemy.
It's actually a remake of the model of Skathak.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, from the Void Ark raids.
Yes.
Regardless, its gimmick is some of the things it summons are illusions and they don't do anything, and so you just have to be in the illusions when they happen, or when you're being knocked out, get knocked into the things that aren't illusions.
Correct.
So that's easy. And then finally, we have
Ambrose the Departed.
Ambrose the Departed, which is basically an Eden Prime remodel as well.
Apparently, according to his Triple Triad card, he was a member of Oblivion that was captured and used as a test subject.
Oh, wow. That's actually kind of fucked up.
Yep.
I think you can get a minion of it from this dungeon as well.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool, but basically it uses psychic waves to open up cages that bring out extra adds. It swings around its giant blade telekinetically. It'll move you around the map. It's actually a pretty kind of fun boss, all in all.
Yes, if our red mage didn't end up being floor tank for most of it.
Yes, and we'll get back to him when we get into the trial, which is next.
Yes. Nonetheless, we come up to the 12th floor and realize we're not really on a floor at all. We're on sort of just a sky throne.
Yeah, we're literally on the rooftop.
And to which Zoralja has basically been waiting for us. And there's no mince words here. We're just going to go throw hands.
Yeah, basically what's happened is he has gorged himself on souls to the point where Y'shtola says if he was a Void Sent, he would be considered a king among them.
Right, because remember, the process is supposed to be that it cleanses the memories of the souls. But even within small soul cells, there's still traces of whatever or whoever they used to be.
Yeah.
And that can cause basically psychopathy.
Yeah, he's basically gone crazy. He basically was like, who am I? What am I? Blessed sibling, the miracle, what am I? And then Wukalamat literally has to say, I am Wukalamat, vow of resolve. You are Zoralja, king of resolve. We are here to fight.
Yes, and therefore we begin the 99 trial Everkeep.
And again, that red mage that we just mentioned before has decided to join us for some fucking reason.
So here's the biggest gimmick with this is that he has an attack that puts you in a warp dimension where you're basically on a 4x4 grid. And he basically summons Plinko attacks that will basically fall down in a dignified pattern and continue that pattern onto your squares.
Yes.
And that begins to be layered on top of other combo attacks.
Yes. He will also do Akmorn's, linear Akmorn attacks. He will do sweep in and out attacks, sweep left or right. The big thing is that you just got to be aware. You got to be aware of your spatial awareness.
Yes.
I should also mention that if the fight first starts off with him just in his normal form, however, he then transforms into basically a Void Sent form, which basically looks like a two-headed Mamulja minus the head of reason.
Right. Also, he does this when reaching 30%. A cutscene plays where he has a delusion of Gululja, his son, appearing, and he gets so mad that is what triggers him to transform.
Yeah, he sees not only Galulja, he sees his father Galul Jaja, and he sees Kona and Wuklamat.
Yes.
He strikes them all down and basically goes insane.
Yes. I will also say that when we did this, when we got to that cutscene, our friend Lumi was unfortunately knocked out during it, and so he was stepping on Lumi's corpse while having his breakdown.
I think she was still alive.
No, she was just kneeling because we're in a down state.
Yeah, we were in a down state. She was just literally right on top of baby Galulja.
I did, however, see someone else post a screenshot from their run of Everkeep, and their teammates were knocked down. And that just, they did comment, like, this is all the more hilarious and impactful with everyone's bodies just lying around.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. It is a rough fight, I will not lie. But I think we just had a bad run of it.
I think it took. Well, I think it was like 3 times we had to run it before we actually passed through.
No, it was 2 runs. It was two
runs. Okay.
Yeah, we just basically wiped once.
Yeah, but that was because we suffered from that split 4x4 attack, and then the Akborns killed us.
Yeah, because basically everyone. Like, I think the healers were not in the 4x4.
Yes.
In the 4x4.
The healers got hit by the sword follow-up, and then the Akborns came, and that was basically it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we did manage to down him, and that is it. Galulja basically lies dead.
Zoralja.
That's the end for Zoralja. He basically lies dead, dying, realizing that he fucked up.
He fucked up, and he basically says he leaves he basically believes that Galul Jaja spurned him, leaving him nothing behind for his own legacy. And so he believed he had nothing to give to his own child. Mm-hmm. And so, in the end, as he lays dying, he gives everything that he has earned from Alexandria to his child.
Yes, to Galulja.
And to say, whatever you do with it, it is up to you now. You do whatever. And then basically Wuklamat says, you're a goddamn idiot because you had the one thing that he could not leave to anyone. Himself.
Yep.
He was the legacy of Galul Jaja. No matter what happened, he had something to go on.
All that everyone cared about was that he thought that he had to prove himself and be this badass warrior king. And all Wuklamat and Galul Jaja wanted out of him was to be a family.
Yes.
And that is the whole travesty of his scenario.
That is his problem. He was burdened. He was a gifted child, burdened with too much, and he cracked under the pressure.
Yes. Now, this would be a nice way to go ahead and end the game, except for the fact that Safina's a goddamn liar. Because she shows up, reveals that all she wanted was the key that Zoralja had on him, because apparently that is the thing that causes interdimensional fusion.
Yes, and so with it, she would invade other worlds in order to save her people and the Endless.
Starting with Tuliolal, to which she goes ahead, opens up a portal back to her dimension, and goes ahead and takes Kakiwa with her, seemingly.
Yeah, because the link to the other world is severed when she closes the gate.
Yes.
And so we end up having to go back to Tuliolal to ascertain what we have to do, and basically we're like, okay... We basically realized that, well, for one, we realized that the earring that Kryl has been carrying this whole time has the code to open up the gate to the Golden City.
And that the reason her parents were basically giving her away is because they had basically cracked the secrets to interdimensional fusion, but knowing that it would be used for malicious reasons, decided to go ahead and make sure that it was passed off to someone who would be able to do something with it.
Yes, or just to keep it out of preservation. This is the main thing. Preservation is the reason that Queen Sphene even exists as she is.
Preservation before the Storm Surge was the group that basically headed the Endless Project, as well as the ones who wanted to go ahead and
perform interdimensional fusion.
Perform interdimensional fusion for the sake of gathering souls. The Kryl's parents basically worked for them, defected, and basically fled with the secrets of their research, which they had destroyed, and all the information was kept in the earring, which was left to Kryl.
Yes, and so with that, we end up going back to the Skydeep Cenote, and we open up the gate to the Golden City with the help of both the earring and the King's authority, which has now been passed on to Galulja.
Yes. At this point, we're also given our access to our artifact here.
Yes. Oh, should we also quickly mention about the role quests really quickly?
Yes. So the role quest, we've only done one of the role quests at the time of this recording, but the role quests basically involve us meeting with various tribesfolk in Toral who apparently are subject to a conspiracy from, what was the name of the group?
The Passage of the Unbound.
The Passage of the Unbound, who seemingly is a bunch of defectors of various Eorzean and otherworldly, basically criminals, who basically band together for the sole point of causing chaos on the motherland.
Yes.
And basically have come to Tuliolal, taken artifacts and items of power to go ahead and rain havoc. The melee DPS one that we did involved a
shinobi from Doma.
From Doma, who basically captured a mystic cocoon that basically lets him take the perfect shape of anyone, and a huntress is tasked with going ahead and retrieving it. We're initially introduced to this character as a, quote, legendary huntress with unparalleled aim, and every time she goes in and takes a shot at this guy, she misses.
Yes.
It's later found out that the person we actually met is the village screw-up, who basically took the cocoon so that she could become powerful, got beat up by the shinobi, and was the one responsible for letting it fall into his hands. The original Almighty Hunter did go after him,
but got killed.
Protecting the screw-up, who was also with her as well.
Itoka is her name.
Itoka. And so we go ahead and find out that the real reason that she keeps missing her shots...
She's nearsighted.
She's nearsighted and needs glasses.
Yeah.
And as soon as we correct that, she is shooting true like nobody's business.
Yes. And we should also mention that this fucking shinobi had the fucking gall and audacity to pretend to be us.
Well, initially he's just impersonating random folks and just causing, villager-level mischief, like pretending that he was the assaulted woman of a nobleman to cause two nobles to get into a fight. Then he starts upping his game and starts pretending to be people of power who, oh, by the way, this is someone that the Player of Light has befriended. Wait, what? And then immediately gets outed by the Warrior of Light. So he's like, this has not worked out the way that I thought it is. I'm going to have to impersonate the Warrior of Light. To which we have to, at one point, he's at the House of the Proud.
The House of the Fierce.
House of the Fierce, trying to go ahead and rally the shinobi to go ahead and go to war with the nomads in the steppes. And we show up and we're like, bro, you don't even sound like me. The fuck are you talking about? And even some of the Doman soldiers are like, yeah, I don't think this is him. He sounds off.
Yeah, I cannot tell you the visceral reaction I had to them impersonating my Warrior of Light. I ran up. I got off the couch. I was spinning around going, no.
And this was the voice I used to impersonate myself when I voiced his voice lines.
I literally went straight up Waluigi with the impersonation on him.
Oh boy, I've never had a more visceral reaction to something in my life. I was like, you impersonate me? I'm both embarrassed and furious. And I want you to squeeze your neck until your head pops off like a toy.
And for his last indignity, he goes ahead and dresses up as the Follow Rei black mage Sadhu to go ahead and try and get Little Sun to go ahead and enter into a marriage treaty with her, so that way they can go wage war on Lord Hien.
Yeah.
To which he's actually half thinking about it.
Yeah, and
before we have to tell him, she's a fake, you dunce!
To which
he gets knocked the fuck out.
Little Sun gets knocked the fuck out. And so we end up having to fight him. He ends up turning into a giant Kyuubi, which is actually one of the raid bosses, fate bosses in Doma.
Yes. And in the end, he does get his vengeance for being humiliated. And
Itoka does shoot him down out of the sky when he tries to turn into a hawk.
And Little Sun promises a world of pain for him for the embarrassment.
Yeah. Does this redeem Little Sun?
No.
He does put the fear of God into the guy, though.
Yes, he does.
So there's one point for you there.
If this is the tone for the rest of them, I am very curious to see how it plays out. Because it is a mix of Manderville madness and sort of the traditional melancholy. melodrama that I'm used to seeing from quests like these.
Yeah, it is. The tone shifts are wild. The one that I did initially was the tank one. It involves a disgraced Ishgardian knight trying to make a joke out of all the other knights by making them fall asleep. Because the totem that she got can force someone to fall asleep.
Does she steal their pants afterwards?
No, she doesn't.
Then she is not. Then she is fake. Nonetheless, basically everyone understands that they need to go back to what is essentially Safine's homeland, and it's determined that this land that we're about to go is to a
unlost world.
An unlost world.
I will tell you right now, it is not revealed that it is the 9th until one of the patch quests.
Okay.
So I've told you it is the 9th, but that is kind of a spoiler.
We don't know which one it is at the time, but at least now we know that it is.
Yes.
It is one of the shards.
Yes.
And nonetheless, we are brought to living memory,
which is a very pretty place and very melancholy.
Very melancholy, and definitely gonna. If you are a fan of mascot horror, you're gonna feel some vibes here.
Yeah, it is basically a giant attraction for the dead.
No, we're not gonna name him. Well, we all know that there's an asshole mouse out there who's shaking his fist in impotence.
That's actually one of the raid bosses of that area.
Ha!
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we are introduced to the area with the...
Have you seen the squirrel costumes some people have been wearing?
Yes, I have seen the squirrel costumes.
That's what you get for beating it.
Fantastic.
I do not want it.
I will find a way to gift it to you.
Oh, God.
Anyway, we go ahead and we're introduced to the area, and initially we're going to meet some random endless to bring us around, but who shows up in the flesh but Kahikwa?
Well, in the proverbial flesh, she is just...
She is an endless now.
She is an endless now. We should also mention that before we see Kakiwa, we do confront Sphene, and we try to convince her to stop her ways, but basically she says there's nothing she can do. She is set down this path, and she is not going to stop.
Yes. And so we go ahead, and Kahikwa basically explains her plan. There is a giant tablet at the starting area called the Mesa Terminal, which is basically the massive program that runs all of living memory. It is where Saphine is basically located.
Yeah.
She is beginning the process of basically...
Causing interdimensional fusion.
Causing interdimensional fusion with all the souls that Zoraljag gathered on her behalf, that she basically tricked him into doing for her own doing, so that way she can have enough souls to bring back all of the Endless, as well as make sure that she begins absorbing as many souls from the source.
Yes.
However, Kahikwa basically explains that this takes a lot of time, and this takes a lot of energy, and that we can shut down the 4 terminals to the 4 districts within living memory in the meantime, which would not only allow us which would not only prevent Saphine from reviving the people who don't need to be revived, but also giving us a way into the Mesa Terminal to go ahead and confront her.
It is also at this point that Kakiwa reveals that basically Sphene is an AI.
Yeah.
She
all Endless are basically brain scans of once living people. They are no longer able to accept feedback. They are basically living out replays of their lives with whatever existing memories they had.
Yes. And so basically, she reveals that Preservation installed something into Sphene to make her want to protect the Endless no matter what.
Think of it as the Professor Turo Osada installing the AI protection program into their duplicates.
Yes, and basically, she's saying like she couldn't stop doing
herself if she tried.
She's basically in a feedback loop.
Yes, but basically she convinces us that we need to shut down the 4 terminals in each of the areas, which will go ahead and power down all of the other, which will give us our opportunity to break into the Mesa Terminal. It will also, however, basically kill any Endless who are existing there.
Yes.
And before we attempt this, Wuklamot would like to meet with the Endless and see what their take on this whole situation is. Which leads us to basically each of the worlds follows a similar plot point. We go into an area, we learn about the Endless there, we learn about how the area functions within living memory, and then we go to the terminal to cut it off.
For the first one, we go to Canal Town where we meet some people. We reunite some lovers who were separated across decades.
It is revealed that when you are reincarnated into living memory, you basically take your idealized form. You basically choose whatever point of time in your life is the happiest, and you assume that form.
Yes.
Which we learn through helping this one particular Elizin reunite with his lover so he can propose to her properly.
Technically not an Elizin, an Eldite, because that's what the
Eldite, Ellison, knife ear. We also have a very somber canal ride with Grahatia, who basically wonders if he could just have all the happy memories, if they would be worth it.
Yeah, if he had something like living memory, would he use it like that? Because he says, tell me, are there people you miss that you would like to see back, that you would happy?
Menphilia, Moonbrita, Papalimo, Horshaphant.
Yeah.
So, you know that would definitely be on the Warrior of Light's mind.
Yeah, even if they could just live one more day. A happy day, if we could so choose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's that. And then finally, right before we're about to turn off the terminal, Wuk-Lamat actually encounters Namika, who is looking for Wuk-Lamat.
Yes, and is looking like her younger self when she was raising Wuk-Lamat as a kid. And through some encouraging, Wuk-Lamat manages to make Namika remember her as she is now, and she is reunited. They get one last parting moment before Namika, now happier than ever being able to reunite with Wuk-Lamat in living memory, re-ages and becomes an old woman before everything gets shut down.
Yeah, she basically says, I've lived a blessed life. I'm glad that I got to see you one last time. And I got to tell you, as someone who is adopted, this hurts us deeply on an emotional level.
I would imagine so. I would also mention that as a side point, we also try endless popcorn with Grahatia, and much like the substance in Alexandria, it don't taste like shit.
Yeah, well,
like we said, all the endless taste it because they basically go off their own memories of salt and what popcorn tastes like. For us who are living folk, it doesn't taste like anything.
It tastes like cardboard.
This is also the first instance of seeing Mr. Chipmunk.
Yes.
Because his mascotry is all over the fucking place.
Yes, but anyway, we shut down Canal Town, and it literally shuts down. Like, literally, the facade melts off all the buildings, and what's left is Electrope.
Yeah. Which is it very much, I begin saying that this is what Amarat looks like, just basically if we if we took away all the textures.
Yeah, and it's kind of fascinating that we're basically doing the opposite of what we did in Ultima Thule, where we brought life and energy and creativity and birth into that area.
And now we're taking it away here.
Yes.
Pulling the plug.
And
Aaronville is moping because the entire time Kahikwa is acting as our tour guide and showing us all the areas and very excited.
And she says, we're going to save the area that I'm stored in for last.
And Aaronville is fucking pissed, quietly seething in the corner.
Yes. And so from there on, we head to Yesterland, which is the actual theme park area of living memory.
And yeah, this is where it gets its most Disney-est as far as I'm concerned. We go ahead and we enter the area, start exploring, only to find out that there are fiends and aberrations here, but they're being put to rest by a certain knight.
Basically, Otis. What we basically deduced that when they were getting his memory, transferring his soul into that robot body, they had a copy of his memory, and they basically uploaded it to living memory.
Yes, and so this Otis, while still technically the same one as the one we encountered out in Alexandria, this is him prior to all of those hundreds of years of him having to survive as a robot. So he doesn't, one, know us, and two, doesn't remember anything about the 100 years that he was out in society.
Yes.
So this is basically, the last thing he remembers is
serving his queen.
To which he is initially distrustful of us because Wuk-Lamat tries to remind him of what happened in Alexandria, only for us to remind her, hey, he doesn't have any memory of that. Maybe Ixnay on it for now.
Yeah.
But she quickly catches up on that, and basically we reapproach Otis later to try and get on his good side, because the Mesa terminal, or the terminal for Yesterland, is located at the bottom of the fake castle in the area, to which Otis says he would not help putting on a founding play of the founding of Alexandria.
To which we offer the help. We dress up as mascots to invite the children around here. By the way, there's a little fucked up thing about all the children here in Yesterland.
Yes.
They're not all children.
Yeah, they technically can be adults because, remember, they reincarnate in the terms of whatever time in their life is the happiest.
And some of them, it was only when they were a kid.
Yep.
Which is kind of fucked up.
Yep.
But anyway, we dress up as mascots. We invite the children to the performance.
We get people to show up, and once we finish, Otis offers us secondary roles as soldiers fighting for the two kingdoms, one for Alexandria, one for their rivals. Lindblum.
Which will actually come up in the patches.
And we go ahead and participate as soldiers for that play, much to the surprise and chagrin of the other party members.
And so we put on a performance. Otis tries to do his thing, but he gets stun-locked in a memory of the demise of Queen Steen.
Yeah, something about this particular play, whether it's the fact that his living self is gone, or whether playing this drama enough times has now triggered a PTSD memory, causes him a bit of stage fright. And so Wook Lamont actually improvises a line to close out the play, hinting that that Alexandria will rise again and become a great nation. Despite the awkwardness of the performance, because Wook Lamont cannot fucking act.
Which is funny.
And I always wonder that in voice actors, how do they pretend to not act?
Yeah.
Or act terrible. Like, I've never understood that as someone who does this as a hobby. I've always thought it's something you just turn on and turn off. I have never deliberately thought about how to perform badly.
Huzzah! Take that, you fiend!
Oh, I am murdered! And just falls to the ground melodramatically. Wild stage direction.
Yeah, I don't get why people think Wook Lamont is a bad voice actor.
Well,
why Senna Breyer is a bad voice
well,
actress.
we do know that between when you played and when I played, they actually did redo some of the lines.
Yes, especially, I'm going to tell you, in Interfos, the lines that Wook Lamont is saying during that fight were completely redone.
Yes.
If you actually look at my Let's Play, you can actually see the original recording.
So I would say that definitely that at least there's a reason to go check out your full playlist to go see the difference between back in 7.0 versus what they have now.
Yeah.
Anyway, in doing so, we talk with Sir Otis after the play, who somewhat seems to be putting together that he himself is trapped in a certain space and time, and does ask us about Queen Safine and the reality outside of living memory.
He asks if Alexandria still exists, and Wook Lamont reassures us and says, it exists, its people are still surviving, it may not look like how you remember it, but it exists.
And that is enough for Otis to be at peace with himself, and goes ahead and thanks the party for not just the successful performance, but also for helping reassure him that in his mind he successfully kept Queen Safine safe.
Yes.
Because it's at least hinted that he may have remembered him failing to protect Safine in reality.
Yeah.
Which led to the AI Safine in existence.
I should mention that there is actually a story about this, but it involves both Otis and his counterpart, which you haven't met yet.
His Lindbergh counterpart?
No, his partner.
Oh, okay.
His partner in the Royal Knights, which,
Gotcha.
if you know Final Fantasy...
Oh, yeah, I know who that is in Final Fantasy IX, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yes.
Anyway, we go ahead and we shut down the terminal in Yesterland, and we have 2 of the 4 terminals down.
Yeah. We then go on to Isle Volcano,
which is basically more of an urbanist area. It has a lot of hot springs, but the main attraction here is the gladiatorial arena.
The gladiatorial arena, and as well as the place that depicts the Malala people,
which are basically a different / ancestor to our Lalafels. We'll get into that why. But we go, basically, Kahikwa goes one way, and we, in trying to go ahead and see what's going on, we decide to follow her path while Aaronville wanders on his own. And we end up going to a coliseum where people can watch people fight it out. In particular, we're fighting 2 scholars. Or 2 summoners.
It's actually 2 arcanists.
2 arcanists duke it out, which, and you might be able to explain this better than I can. Grahatia says something about proto-arcanists.
Yeah, Arcanima. Basically, the style of magic that was brought about by the people of the South Seas Isles.
Okay.
which is Alo Alo Island if you do the quest in Endwalker.
Okay, which Graha seems to imply that those people no longer exist.
Yes.
For some reason. I don't think this has to do with the Boja incident where Garleans bombed that one island.
No, the effects of the Alo Alo Islands happened during the 5th Umbral Calamity, the Calamity of Ice.
Right, which at least at the time is not fully understood, but later on we get some explanations for it. So I'm going to keep that because we're going to come to it in a bit.
Yeah, I'll explain that when we get to it.
However, what's more important here is that Kryl recognizes 2 Milala people in the crowd who immediately she seems to understand are her parents.
To which she reveals the necklace to her. She says, I'm Kryl. 20 years ago, I was left with a man as a baby by 2 people in a gate. Are you them?
And which they both realize that the Lalafell before them is their daughter, now grown up. And to which they introduce themselves and explain that they were they go ahead and explain their role within Alexandria regarding interdimensional fusion, but that they just really want to get to know their daughter, and so we have to grease the wheels, as it were.
Oh god, and we get to the worst scene in Dawntrail.
We get to the worst Benny G scene in Dawntrail. So basically, Muglamat realizes we need to get some food to help lubricate things going on here. So we get some ice cream for them to go ahead and help talk. But everyone knows by this point that the food here is fake, and it doesn't make sense it would be weird for Kryl to eat it along with her parents.
Yeah, we're fine.
So basically, Graha gets an ice cream cone for himself and takes a huge chunking bite out of it to just go ahead and make it easier so that everyone can just relax and not worry about the fact that Kryl is living and the parents are endless.
Your mother does that too.
And the Benny G clip that accompanies it is by far wild.
Just Graha deep-throating it.
And the fucking Kryl's mom, after hearing that joke out of her husband, bashing his head into the table like a boss. My God, Benny G is a madman.
I know, and now that you're current, we can show you all the stuff now.
Yeah, I don't think he's made too much past that point, unless there's something involving Halmarut.
Oh God, do you actually know that?
Know what?
Moving on.
Anyway, so Kryl's parents basically explained that they're Malala. They are not Lalafell, that they basically came from another dimension, another shard. And basically...
with the key.
With the key. They basically go ahead and... part of the volcano area includes basically a Malala cultural area where basically their stories explained. They came from a tropical a realm where basically it was tropical forever.
The South Seas Isles.
And basically they went ahead and during the 5th Umbral Calamity suffered a massive freeze that not only threatened aetherical imbalance, but basically made it impossible to do anything because everything was tropical and now it was frozen over.
Yeah.
So they basically had this item that basically acted as interdimensional rift that the Elder of the time managed to use, open up a portal to a new world, and then they traveled through. However, the Malala have not been able to figure out how this device actually works, nor what was the circumstances that allowed them to effectively escape from their homeland in the first place.
Yeah, so basically, they went from the source to the ninth. When the ninth started to go to shit, they were trying to hope to go back to their homeland, but they couldn't.
Yes, and so they've been trying to find it ever since, and be able to use it to hopefully go back home.
And that's where Preservation came in, saying, you've got something we're interested in.
And so both of Kryl's parents worked with Preservation, trying to unlock the secrets of interdimensional fusion, only to find out the true purpose of their project, and basically everything is now caught full circle.
Yes.
When Kryl asked them why entrust it to her, they basically said they thought that she would be the one to be able to succeed them.
Yes.
And they also go ahead and explain that while Kryl was obviously named by Galuf, the name that they chose for her was actually Maya.
Yes, which actually, Cryle Maya Baldecian is actually the full name of the character from Final Fantasy V.
So the reference is fully completed now.
Yes.
Nonetheless, the parents are more than satisfied that they got to meet their daughter again and are more than supportive of the plan to go ahead and power down the terminals to go ahead and stop Safine from doing her evil plan.
To which Cryle is the one to shut down the Isle Volcano terminal.
Yes.
And so, with that, only one remains, the one where Kakiwa lives.
Which is the nature preserve.
Yes.
And basically, Kakiwa asked, before shutting down the terminal, to indulge her in a nature walk to basically explore the sanctuary. Because in addition to being a preserve park, it also basically acts as something akin to the Garden of Elpis, where basically they preserve as much samples of Alexandrian wildlife and flora as possible.
And so, at this point,
Erenville is fed up.
She's like, "You're doing it again. You're just doing your own thing and then walking away."
Yes, and we get a little bit, despite how heavily centered they are, we really don't actually get to see their relationship play out until at this point. Basically, we do know that Kakiwa is Erenville's mentor as well as his mother, but we never really got to see how they would react. And we do see Kakiwa is very upbeat, very, very loving, but in her own way. And Erenville tends to be very much
sullen and withdrawn.
To which even Kakiwa admits she would rather Erenville be more social, but seeing him have any number of friends is a step up.
Yes, and she was seeing her son become sullen and withdrawn, and she was like, "You need to go out into the world and explore things. Mm-hmm. Be a gleaner. Go to Charlotte. Explore the world."
And of course, the task to find the Golden City was initially given to him, so that way, at some point, he would eventually see what she saw.
Yes.
Nonetheless, we do explore some of the nature reserve. We see, again, creatures who have their own versions from the source here in their own variants.
As well as the first.
And one of the things that we do before the very end is we take a ride on flying capybaras.
Which is such a weird tonal shift.
I get they wanted to include another regional animal from the area, but capybaras, I get why they do it, because they got really popular on the internet around 2022, 2023.
Yeah, fair enough.
So they became an indie animal darling, and so their inclusion here now makes sense.
Yes.
Nonetheless, it's very bittersweet, as basically the whole thing is that Erenville wants a hug and to be told that he's a good boy.
Pretty much, and eventually Kakiwa gives that to him.
Yes, but Kakiwa also just wants him to live his own life, to not need to be tethered down, to always have that curiosity that she had.
And so Erenville basically says he'll do what she couldn't do and explore the world and see all its sights.
Also, because despite Kakiwa being a naturalist and explorer, she never left Tehran.
Yeah.
She only got to go on adventures because she was a part of
the Dawn Servants party.
Correct.
And so, with that, she basically can leave with no regrets because she knows things will be in capable hands from here on out.
Yep. And so,
Erenville's the one to shut down the nature preserves terminal.
Right. And so, as soon as the nature preserve terminal goes offline, an announcement is made from the Mesa terminal, basically declaring that interdimensional fusion is imminent and that there's not much time left.
To which we end up back at the Meso terminal, and Erenville basically says the only way in is to project your souls into the data stream and basically fight Safine from in there.
Right. Which basically leads us to the level 100 dungeon, Alexandria.
And this is basically a flashback of all its... Final Fantasy XIV has been doing this a lot recently, where the last dungeon ever since Amarat, the last dungeon has been a showcase of the past in some ways, and I think people are starting to get a little sick of it.
I think it's an effective storytelling device, even if you're sick of it, because there's no way... Otherwise, it's going to be a fucking half-hour to hour-long cutscene to basically explain the same shit.
Yeah.
And at least this time, you're interacting with it.
Yeah.
And so, basically what we go through is we go through... three key moments in Alexandrian history. We go through pre-crisis, we go through when the storm surge is happening, and we go through post-crisis.
Yes.
As we go through it, Terminal's antivirus software, it kicks in and tries to stop us from exploring. And at each boss point, we fight a different program of intensity.
Yeah, the first one is probably the hardest one in my opinion.
Yes.
Because it creates squares and it creates crosses and circles, and you basically have to keep moving through them and avoiding them in the right way.
Yeah, this one killed me quite a bit. I want to say, like, if it was just a half second longer between shots, it would not be as bad. Because even, like, I could, basically, if I wanted to dodge it perfectly, I could not do DPS in it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, unless you're going to have to learn how to fight and move at the same time in this expansion. There's no other way that I can put it. You're going to have to learn how to fight and move at the same time.
Because I can fight and move. The problem is that it's one of those things to where it's like, this was one of those things where you are off position just a little bit and you get clipped by it.
Yeah.
And the problem is because it is in rapid succession, in the manner and means that it does it, it is very difficult to do.
You want a little bit of advice?
Sure.
As soon as the as soon as the ring goes off,
Yes.
You can immediately move into it. You can move into the effect.
Well, remember, like, I know that is kind of common sense by now. Remember that lag and ping is going to be a major factor.
Yes,
in that.
I understand that. I'm trying to make excuses for it, but
I'm just saying it's difficult. It's not impossible, but remember, we usually only do it. I guess compared to the previous ways we used to do it, where I would at least get multiple runs through, we've only been really doing one shots of them.
Yeah.
And so really, I guess in my opinion, compared to like other dungeons, to where even when I would grind up and I would get that other experience with the other dungeons, I've been feeling that at least with the higher level dungeons, I don't run into them as often still.
Yeah, well, once you now that you're here, you'll start. You now have access to the high level dungeons, which is going to make you go through Alexandria. It's going to make you go through Tender Valley and Strayborough Deadwalk.
Okay.
So you're going to be going through those if you do that weekly roulette thing, that daily roulette.
Okay.
So you'll be learning them soon enough.
Okay. I do feel at least that first one still is quite difficult in comparison to the other two.
If you need to learn it more, don't worry about your DPS. Just focus on moving. You could start doing your DPS again after the thing is done.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, every time we go through this loop, the memory becomes more corroded because Safine is also deleting her own memories in order to best prepare herself for the process the interdimensional fusion process.
Because she feels that she is hampered by her frail, demure existence.
Yes, the emotions are holding her back.
Yes.
And so the memories keep getting deleted, which leads us to the second mid-boss.
Which is, I forget what it's called, but Amalgam. It's Amalgam.
Yes.
Yes, and so this thing basically will create triangles from its body that you have to avoid, as well as straightaway energy blasts that you have to interweave through both.
Yes.
And so it will also create electric fields on the ground, which will tell you where to avoid. You either get in or get to the sides.
Yes, and then she divides and reassembles herself.
Yes. So that one's not bad. That one's relatively...
Yeah, no, I think really just for me is that there are just... And you see it in even in the post-patch dungeons, there are just one or two bosses that are like, this is a difficulty spike in just the wrong way.
I kind of find them fun, but...
I'm holding you to that on the Dead Beach Walk.
Oh, okay. You know what? I will tell you. That one is fucking awful.
See, I see. That's kind of my point on that one. Anyway,
I am really curious to see what your opinion is of the first patch dungeon, because that one really fucks with the arena.
Okay. The last one, however, is the Eliminator, which is the final program that stands between us and Sphene at the end. And that one has layering mechanics on layering mechanics, where it starts off with a simple cleave, and then it has subparts that are also going off at the same time.
Yes, so you have to be aware of whatever side that blade is on at all times.
Yes, and it will also switch sides before it pops off.
Yes.
So you have to pay attention to the boss's figure.
Yes, so pay attention to the boss, pay attention to the arena. You'll either have to be in a little circle, or you'll have to avoid a line AoE, or you'll have to do both as well as the cleave.
Yes. And so, despite all that, that didn't seem as bad compared to the first one.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like, it seems disjointed in terms of how it's built. So I'm not sure if that's just the way that I can process mechanics, or if that's just the way that, like, other difficulties. Because you also agree with me, like, that first one is hard.
Yeah, that first one is hard. I'm not going to lie.
So I am wondering, like, what the feedback is from on sort of the back end in terms of, like, how it's decided what's the end boss and what's a mid boss.
There is definitely a trial fight in the patches that I am not super looking forward to. It's not my favorite, even though it is with a character design that I really like.
Got it.
Which kind of frustrates me a little.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, from here on out, I'm not tanking.
Okay. That's perfectly fine, because probably after we're done with Arcadian, I'm going to probably switch to focusing on tank.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now...
but I will...
when we're doing the final tier of the Arcadian, I'm going as Viper.
Okay. Because what I'm probably going to focus more, just because I know, like, I can go to magic DPS, no problem. I have not touched healer and tank in a long-ass time, so I'm probably going to need to spend a couple of, maybe a weekend or two just grinding up my skills again, and then seeing what I need to do for the Endwalker and the Dawntrail dungeons, just to make sure that I'm up to pace.
Right, fair enough, fair enough.
But anyway, after we clear that, we are ready to breach the Interfos, which is the end game for this patch.
Yeah, against Queen Eternal.
Yes, which is the AI Sophene wiped of its memory.
And it is a hell of a fight.
It is a very interesting fight. The main thing that kept killing me is this one attack that basically
the big suck.
The big suck. She turns the ground into black and green grid. It
showcases where she's sucking.
It displaces itself where the suck is coming from, and the left and right sides are fine. The problem is when she does the middle, which requires you to run to the corners.
Yes,
and that's the one that initially threw me off, just because of the unfortunate the way that the lines bend before I realized, oh, I have to be in the corner.
Yeah, you cannot be in the middle.
Yeah. But then she also has a bunch of, again, another set of layering mechanics where she's throwing beams and lines at you.
Layers of lasers, and she will shift reality to a little bit, because
yes.
I think it's supposed to indicate the interdimensional fusion.
Yes.
Where she shows a realm of Earth, she shows a realm of wind. I'm thinking about the extreme.
No, it's basically a digital realm, and then a more like Alexandrian-based reality.
Yeah.
But basically, the floor will change, and then there's going to be holes in there, and you have to make sure you position yourself so the knockback doesn't throw you off the edge.
Right. There's that, and then it shifts into an Earth-like realm where she summons castle walls that you have to hide through gaps as you're being controlled by gravity.
Yes. The main showcase for her is absolute authority.
Oh yes, that is her kitchen sink mechanic.
Yes.
Where she just throws everything at you.
DPS flare markers, overhead stacks, multiple AoEs, circle AoEs that immediately spawn right afterwards, acceleration bomb, gaze indicator on the healers, and apparently you have always said that you've never seen it work without having a healer pop a level 3.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the wiki, the party gauge will automatically, they give you a 3 level 3 specifically when the first casting of
Absolute
Authority hits.
Yeah, that is basically what happens, because it happens and you have to LB3 to get everyone off their feet.
Yes,
on their feet.
On their feet. Once we hit 30%, initially we confront Queen Absolute as Queen Eternity as a party, but she basically dispels everyone else except us because she recognizes us as a threat.
Yeah.
However, by the time 30% gets hit, who else but fucking Wuklamat breaks back into the fight and goes ahead and tries to wake Sophene from her delusion.
Yes, which actually somehow manages to regenerate the original Sphene somehow from her memories.
Yes.
Partially restored. And so she is still saying, I will not be stopped, but I will fight you as myself.
Yes, and so we have Wuk-Lamat, who is providing tank for us while we go ahead and continue concluding the fight.
Yes, because from here on, it's just a bunch of AoEs and stuff like that.
Think of it as Medion 2.0, where basically you've triggered our enrage.
Yes. And so we get another LP3 from this stage happening. So we go ahead and do that. We do enough damage. Queen Eternal is defeated. And so Inner Folks is defeated, and we can enjoy the end of Dawntrail.
Which honestly brings me back to freaking Shadowbringers, where we're talking with freaking
Emmett
Selk at the end, basically. It's very much a similar thing, but we're not dramatically doing the remember us. Remember that we lived.
No, instead it's Wuk-Lamat going, be free of your burdens, Sphene, and let us take on the mantle from here on out.
Yes, to which she reluctantly agrees, but there is a part of her that wishes they could have been friends.
Yeah, I gotta admit, this whole thing for Wuk-Lamat has been her going through from Stormblood to Shadowbringers to Endwalker.
In one continuous arc.
Yes.
Also, we have done a disservice, and we have not joked enough about the Yuri baiting with these two.
Oh yeah, it is toxic Yuri at its finest.
Which is weird because everyone forgets there's technically an NTR component to it. She is cucking her own brother. As much as he probably wouldn't see it that way, he basically married Sphene out of political purposes. But also they have a kid, somehow?
Don't worry, that explains in the first patch.
They better fucking explain it because they haven't explained.
I don't know if it's explained well. To be honest,
that does not give me hope.
To be honest, I find the first patch to be a little awkward. At least until like the last moments.
Okay.
Where it's like, what the fuck just happened? I need to know more.
Okay. So we're going back to sort of this is more of like Stormblood's patch quest, I guess then.
Yeah, like I find patch 7.1 to be mediocre at best. Like it's good. It's fine. It's
there. It's a patch.
It's there. It's not until like the last 30 minutes that it's like, oh god, shit is starting to happen. I want to know what happens in the next patch.
Yeah.
And I had to wait 4 months for that.
Right. We basically get out of there. We look over Living Memory and realize that, yeah, this is something that definitely needs to not see the light of day. We go back to Alexandria, explain
we should also mention that Sphene has also given us the key.
Oh, yes. Which turns out to glow with the Mark of Azim.
Yes, as soon as we start using our power to summon our allies, it starts to react to that and reveals the Mark of Azim. And I'm like, holy shit, that's mine, gimme.
Yes. We go back to Alexandria and delicately explain Queen Sphene's passing.
We say that Gulul Jaja has now taken the role of king, but Oblivion will be running things for now for a little bit until he comes to power.
They are also worried because Wuk-Lamat does want to step up as Gulul Ja's guardian, which is kind of like it's one of those like medieval situations of, hey, I'm keeping your king ransom until he's old enough to rule the throne, which does cause some concern. But given the fact that we've done enough good credit to where people trust us to some degree, kind of works out in the end.
Oblivion also says, hey, nothing about Solution 9 is going to change. Everything's still the way it is.
Yeah, we're just going to try and unfuck the unfairness of the soul cell system, okay?
Yeah.
And try to and now that not everyone has to basically give up their souls to the Endless, we're trying to keep things more in balance.
Yeah.
Which goes ahead and which kind of leads to some interesting things that I know about the Alliance, that I know about the Arcadian right now.
Yeah.
Because we'll get into that when we talk about Arcadian, but it does lead up some interesting setup into them.
Yeah, like their use of souls.
We also find out that Tuliolal is still rebuilding from the initial attack, but everyone seems to be getting along, and there's a lot of inner cohesion where even people from Alexandria are coming back or coming into Tuliolal for the first time.
Yeah, and it could also be people who were there as kids are coming back to Tuliolal.
Yes, and we do meet in part of the later quest lines, we do meet descendants of those people who were originally trapped in Yasolani.
Yeah.
Who basically continued living and had kids of their own, who are Tuliolalan, but were grown up in Alexandria by birth.
Yes.
Anyway, basically the story ends with everything being set up for a brighter future for both Alexandria and Tuliolal.
Right. And so there's a party for 3 days and 3 nights. The statue that Kona and Wuklamat had prepared is being erected. We look up into the sun as a new dawn is shining on Tuliolal.
And Aaronville says, I'm going to go ahead and get a vacation for myself because fuck this noise.
Yes, he is basically saying, I'm done being a gleaner. I'm going to do what my mom wanted me to do and explore the world.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. And then it ends, and then after credits roll, we get the teaser for the Arcadian, but we also get a weird zoom in on Sphyn's crown for some reason.
Yes. So
which is her regulator, by the way.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was wondering where that was. Nonetheless, what did you think about Dawntrail? I know you've already done your Let's Play, and this is technically your second time running it through with me, but what do you think now that you've had the insight of the patch quests?
Now that I've had the insight of the patch quests, I can definitely see that we aren't finished. We definitely aren't finished. But it was a good self-contained story. I do feel that it does have some pacing issues here and there. Like we mentioned before, I would have liked us to have had a fight with Wuklamat ourselves. I do feel that it is very split. Like, it's definitely split between the Tuliolal side and the Alexandrian side.
So I will defend that because it's not as back and forth as Stormblood was. Stormblood was a case of, we want to go and do this thing in Japan.
Yeah.
But we also have this other plot line that we kind of brought up that we also have to resolve, so we're making you go back and forth.
Yeah.
Here, it's very clear that we're going to do the Ascension storyline is initially first.
Yes.
And that's all we're focusing on. And then everything with Alexandria doesn't come up until after we cross the border.
Right.
And shit starts going south. Boy, howdy, does that imply that we basically brought a bunch of migrants over. That's in poor taste.
Yeah, well, basically, I would say Solution 9's New York City.
Yeah, it very much is supposed to be like that. Don't look into that context too heavily. But more to the point, it very much makes it clear we're only focusing on one, and then we go to the other. And even then, it shows the interplay between the two much more closely. Like, everything that happens in the second act could not have happened without the first.
That is very true.
Whereas Stormblood is very much like, it's like giant side quest, you know how you have like the choosing paths at the start?
Yeah.
It's giant version of that, and then giant version of the other.
Or, as some people have called it, a tale of two expansions.
Yeah, and I think at least it's much better integrated with Dawntrail than it is in Stormblood. And I think that's just because, look, we know we're going to have to implicate this anyway, so we might as well go ahead and do it in a way that one leads to two.
Speaking of the Stormblood allegations, let's compare Wuklamat to Lys.
So, Lys, let's go ahead and let's start out with this. Lys was not intended to be the character that she is.
Yes.
Lys, remember, was originally Lita, who was a character from ARR.
Yeah.
And that...
Actually, from even before that.
And the original one, the original Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, her deal, she was, remember, a masked side character with being the tall drink of water to be the humorous counterpart to short and serious Papalymo.
Yeah, she was tall, blonde, and ditzy.
And really, Papalymo was the one who was supposed to get more tall acting. Sadly, his role was cut short.
Yes. Literally.
Yes. And so, really, with that being sort of the operandus, now they have to make Lys a character, but we can't do that with her current existing. So they have to... The whole thing about her being her twin is such bullshit to me in hindsight.
Really?
It really,
well, not even her twin. It's her little sister.
It's a full ass pull to say you can disregard all your prior experience with this character because it's not really her. She was pretending to be someone else. And they did the best they could with that, but it was really, they wanted to keep a connection with the Scions without having the hassle of introducing a new character.
I will say, going through ARR again on my Lalafell alt was really weird whenever I saw Lys being a fucking dumbass.
Yes.
I was like, we've been through this.
Yes. and it really is sort of a thing. Meanwhile, Luke Lamont is introduced as this warrior princess who is too big for her britches initially.
Yes.
And that is made very apparent at the get-go. They are not hiding that, Paul. But what they do is they do say this is where she starts, and she wants to aspire to be like her dad.
Yes.
And we, through the trials and through our encouragement and through her interacting with other characters, not just the Warrior of Light, she grows into that organically.
Yes.
Lise kind of basically just gets there because they need someone who's a homegirl and who's gonna go ahead and do the right thing.
And there also comes the problem of some people calling Lise a white girl savior.
Right, which you can't really say that when even the voice actor for Wook Lamont's also of kin.
Yes.
You know? So you don't have that issue with her. The other thing is that Wook Lamont is outright head of state. She is the one in charge, and she only asks Kona to be co-counsel because she knows she's not a thinker. She is a fighter. She's a people person, and she knows what her role is. Lise is basically given the general position out of pity.
Yeah.
Because Raubon is too old to be doing that shit, and he can't swing his sword no more because he lost his arm.
And also Conrad, the original leader of the Resistance, died, and
also got murked. So really, it kind of is a consolation prize for Lise to keep her relevant and to make her think that she's gotten to any importance role. Also, the dress thing, I like the dress on her. I have no problem with red dresses. Red is my favorite color. But I do think that it's like, it is a weird choice to give the tomboy a dress to punch in and then say that it's a war dress. I'm like, you're stretching there, video game. Yeah. You're stretching there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a traditional
Alamegan
battle garment.
Battle garment. It's like, we don't fucking see that in the monk garb.
Nope.
So I kind of feel like that's, again, another ass pull that they do. Wook Lamont is still the same character from beginning to end, basically.
She's just grown.
But she has grown in a more natural arc.
Yes.
And so I think that as far as that's concerned, Wook Lamont is better than Lise hands down. I'm sorry to my Punch Princess.
Yeah, fair enough. I kind of feel the same, to be perfectly honest.
Besides that, her supporting cast is great. Her dad is a fantastic role model for her. And he's not sort of the blundering oaf we even take him for at the start. Zoral Jaw makes a very good second act villain, while Bakul Jaw makes a very tragic character
for the first act.
In the first act. And Kona is we get to see this wonderful nerd of a clone character step into his own because he cares so much about his sister.
I will say, he does get a little more expansion in the first patch quest. Like, we actually go back to, like, his backstory and stuff like that.
Okay.
For the first patch. Which some people say is total whiplash, given what happens in the first half of the patch quest line.
Okay.
Like, in the patch 1.0, we start in Alexandria, and then we go back into Tuliolal to do the stuff with Kona.
Okay.
And then there's the little slip at the end for the big what the fuck.
Okay. The one thing I will say about is that I would say that there's a lot fewer characters that I think make a distinction outside of the Zoraja family, minus Queen Safine herself and Kakiwa.
Yeah.
I think my only thing with Kakiwa is that in an attempt to focus more on the Alexandria arc of the Endless, they do neglect Kakiwa and Erenville's relationship.
Yes, I will agree with you there. Like, I did not feel as much about Kakiwa and Erenville as I feel like I should have.
So, I can tell you the reason for that is that there is a lot of, like, Kakiwa in herself as a character very much fills the mom role that a lot of fan art has already done the job for me.
Yes.
In terms of, like, she is fun, she's expressive, she is doting, she calls Erenville or Ellen Eshpia her fussy little bun. The kind of overbearing Latina mom that very much loves her son, but also very much wants him to go out and be a man and do all this type of stuff that he is supposed to do. And
speaking from experience, dude?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But also, Erenville himself is just very drastic as a character, and we don't really see a lot of, whereas even you get the feeling between Kona and Luke Lamont, you get a very good idea of what their relationships and not just within the family, but also with their parent was like, to where you can understand that not just is Zoralja a good and a loving parent, but he's also one that lets his kids be themselves. And we don't really see what Ellen Espia's gripe is with his mom outside of the fact that
she's overbearing.
She's overbearing to him.
Yeah.
And I think, but we do see it a bit in the nature preserve where they have a banter about, is this creature a beastkin or a scalekin? And it's trying to come off like sort of like Soma and his dad.
Yeah.
In which the dad wants to push the son to do better because he knows that the son is going to succeed where he failed. And that is a recurring theme about the sins of the father and the burdens of the children.
Yes.
But it's not... that's very much played out with all the candidates, and that's very clearly with Bakul Jaja. Not so much with Ellen Espia and his mom. And I think that's sort of where it's lacking for me. And why I initially told you, before you have told me, I would like to see him come back. And even I would like him to do kind of like with Kryl and with Urian Jade, where a background character takes up arms at some point to take out some of their issues that they have.
I will say, I think this actually stems from Endwalker. Why Erenville was actually put into Dawntrail. He actually got very popular in Endwalker, and the devs weren't expecting that. Mm-hmm. And so they had to figure out a way to incorporate him into Dawntrail. And I feel like that may have been an issue from the start.
It could have been. I think that might be part of the reason why. I think that it was a decent attempt, and I think that without Erenville, it wouldn't have worked the same way. But I do feel like there should have been... I think for the sake of time and for the sake of the flow, is the same reason we didn't get like a Wuklamot training bit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if we had one or two more bits when Kakiwa was still in her robot form, to where we got to see either more of that objective-driven, or she mainly focuses more on the adventure aspect of it and neglecting Erenville's feelings, I feel like that would have helped show a bit more of the gap between them. I think that's kind of like where, like I said, Erenville needs a hug and a head pat and some reassurance from his mom, especially when the reveal is that, yeah, she's been dead this entire fucking time.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. But
a lot of it, but even like I said, like even with some of the side characters, Wukavu, Namika, the gang from Shaloni, all those characters were really nice, but I can tell that they're not going to come back. Yeah. I'm sorry to say they're not going to come back, and I think that's kind of what my issue is that one of the things that made early parts of 14 bearable is that, Sid's here. Sid's going to definitely show up in a couple of turns. Nero has sort of had a character redemption. Nero's going to come back for a couple of adventures. We have
Raubon.
I was going to say Horshafon's father.
Horshafon's father, Count Edmund.
Count Edmund is going to be reoccurring. Like, it's hard for me to tell who's going to come back in the future, and I think that is I think a problem that the next expansion is going to have to take a look at and see, like, okay, you made a bunch of expendable characters, but some of these need to be callbacks, because one of the things that makes the first arc so good is that we need someone to help fix a problem, and we're going to need to call on them. And while Kona and Wuklamot definitely are going to get callbacks, I don't think that those two can do it by themselves. We need Wukivu. I think we're going to need the train boys to come back as well.
I'm going to say a lot of people are banking on the key taking us to another reflection for the next expansion. And so basically people hypothesize that what we did in the New World was basically just setting up people that could take care of their own nation, like making sure all the nations were able to take care of themselves as we are allowed to go on our own little journey. Mm-hmm. So we helped foster Wuklamot. We did the part of Azam's thing where they foster new heroes.
Right. So what you're thinking is that the next time we're going to have shard hopping like we did in Shadowbringers.
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious to see how that plays out. I imagine I'll have more thoughts about that when we get into the patch quests. On the Alexandrian side, I think that I'm curious to see where they're going to go with Safine, because I do know at the bare minimum she comes back. In a way. I'm not sure in what capacity. I just know that those buns are coming back. That hairpiece is coming back.
Yes, the hairpiece is coming back, so it is hinting at something.
Aside from that, we don't really have too much build-up in terms of characters from Solution 9, which I'm kind of disappointed in also.
Don't worry.
But I think that's because of just how quickly they introduced it at the end.
Yeah, to be honest, it's Solution 9... Alexandrian Solution 9 is actually rather more, instead of the second half, it's more like the second third of the game, which kind of feels like it needed more expansion, which we will get in the patch quest. We will get to learn about more of the people from Oblivion. We will learn about Shale. We will learn about Geo.
And for me, I think that's okay, because that, I think, because that was what my complaint about Heaven's Ward. Heaven's Ward ended in a way where it was kind of like bittersweet, to where, yeah, we beat the Pope and made sure that he wasn't going to do dumb shit, but
Nidhogg is still...
But Nidhogg has possessed Justinian fully now. We're kind of fucked, guys. What are you talking about? Why are we doing an end? Versus Stormblood, to where, yeah, we beat the bad guy, and I know there's all this political unrest that we're going to have to go through still, but the flag and the anthem, like, literally, it's the end of A New Hope, and that's why I love that ending so much.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is much closer to the Stormblood ending, which is why I'm okay with that. And I think that's fine if we're going to build up those characters in the patch quest.
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly fine.
I will tell you, even in patch 7.4, where we are currently at as of recording this, I'm still not sure where we're going. Like, 7.4 is supposed to be the start of the lead up to the next expansion.
Right, as it usually is, at least by the time that we get to by this stage.
Yeah, because... as of 7.3, Alexandria is taken care of for the most part.
Okay.
I will say that I do not know where we're going, but I am curious.
Okay. I'm still hoping for Mericidia personally, though I understand if they have other plans.
Trust me, I will tell you right now, Yoshi P has kind of gone on record saying that Mericidia is not next.
Okay.
So, we don't know what we're doing next. So, it is very likely it's going to be shard hopping.
Okay. I guess sort of as far as the last thing I would kind of bring up is Yoshi P was not kidding around when he said I'm throwing hands with the community. I know that when Dawntrail was released, I think the statement was, Final Fantasy XIV has gotten too easy. I intend to change that in this next expansion.
Oh, yeah.
And given sort of the difficulty we've had, I can definitely see that. It is mostly not hard. It is mostly requiring more of your attention.
It is requiring more of your attention and requiring you to actually be aware of your surroundings. I will tell you this right now. For the last half of the Arcadian, you're going to want to get your rotation down.
Yeah.
Because the first of the Arcadian fights for the heavyweight section of the Arcadian, DPS check. There is a DPS check right at the beginning.
Okay.
So you are going to have to get your rotation down.
Okay.
So... because, like, literally, as a Viper, in my fight, I immediately hit my Serpent's Ire to do my damage. I then start building up my meter so that for the first DPS check, I have enough meter to do my next big combo. Mm-hmm. So that'll help a lot.
Okay. Besides that, I want to say that it's still better than Heaven's Ward in terms of its ending. I think content-wise, it's better than Stormblood. So in terms of overall ranking, it's going to go...
let's see, go from the bottom.
Go from the bottom, ARR. I'm going to go ahead and change it to probably where Stormblood is... No, Heaven's Ward. Go ARR, Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, Dawntrail.
All right.
Endwalker, Shadowbringer.
All right, that seems like a fair assessment to me.
Based on everything that I've done so far.
Yeah. I feel like... I always flip-flop between whether I like Shadowbringers or Endwalker more as the finale.
Right.
Mainly because Endwalker gave us a satisfying ending.
Yes.
And so there are so many things that... so many shows, so many series, so many games that end off on an unsatisfying ending. And so that ends up tainting the experience.
Yeah.
So that's where I keep flip-flopping.
Yeah, and the ending to Shadowbringer, just because of the emotional journey that we go through... is the other reason that it is held in high contention.
Yes.
But between those two, it goes... those two, then
Then Dawntrail,
Dawntrail.
Stormblood, Heaven's Ward, Shadowbringers. That's for you. I would flip Stormblood and Heaven's Ward for me.
Sure.
But that's my own personal
Yeah,
preference.
and I think that's perfectly fair. We did do 2 of the post-patch dungeons. We did
Tender Valley,
and
the Strayburrow Deadwalk.
Okay, so let's do Tender Valley first because that's actually the funner one of the 2.
Okay.
Tender Valley, we go there because it's an ancient ruin belonging to people.
Belonging to the Yakui, but apparently there's supposedly ruins that are even older than the Yakui there.
Which we go and investigate, and we do find architecture that is surprisingly more similar to something from the Raktika Greatwood.
Yeah, similar to the Ronkin Empire.
Yes, and so we go through the first boss. I think is just a giant sabotender.
It's the Barrel Tender, yes.
And
I have that as a mount.
Nice. And then the second fight is against a
mobile chimney stack.
A mobile chimney stack that basically throws bombs all over the place.
Yes. But the final boss
is
the greatest serpent of Taral,
which is a Taral Vidral, which is very similar to everyone's favorite squee monster from the Raktika Greatwood.
Yes, it is literally the little scree, the little great serpent of Ronka.
Which I gotta say was a hilarious twist, but also a very fun boss fight.
Yeah, I love the fact that it uses Dubious Thule Disaster, which is a reference to Valigarmanda's Thule Disaster.
Yes.
So it's trying to be Valigarmanda.
Well, what's even more interesting is sort of the cutscene after that. After we beat the monster and manage to silence its terror, we go back and we talk to not only the archaeologist who gave us that quest, but also a lore keeper for the Yakui, who basically explains what happened when their northern contingent expanded in there and basically found the greatest serpent in prison and basically built a shrine around it.
Yes.
They tried to appeal it for aid when a great disaster came through, and their pleas went unanswered. And so that was the reason they ended up retreating back to the south and left the northern ruins abandoned.
Yes.
And even then, it turns out the scholar that hired us actually read our reports about our adventures in the first and is wondering about kind of basically divergent civilization construction between the source and its various reflections.
Yes.
And is wondering how basically the fractions and the source reflect one another and how that influences the culture and the realities.
Yes, so basically we have a Ronkin ruins in New Mexico and we have a Ronkin ruins in Europe, basically.
Yes. So it basically trying to figure out how the heck the dimensional fractures and if we can do one-for-one recreations.
Yes,
because
what was the ancient proto-civilization of this like?
Right, because basically and I think that's even hinted within Shadowbringers itself, the Raktika Greatwood is supposed to reference the Twelves Wood.
Yes.
And yet it has more similarities to this ancient civilization in the New World in Toral.
Yes.
So how exactly did that work? And is there some kind of older civilization which is basically the prototype?
Yes.
Or the ancestor that precedes everything.
Yes.
And that's what he's trying to find out.
Yeah.
Very like blah. You can totally ignore that and just take it as a fun dungeon, but it's very interesting if you care about the cosmology of the world.
Oh yeah, it is very fun. It's like wondering, is the Ronkin civilization something that belonged to the ancient civilization, or something even beyond older than that?
Older than that, yeah. Something potentially pre-Allegan, basically.
Not just pre-Allegan, pre-ancient.
Pre-ancient, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other one is Rei's least favorite.
The Strayburrow Deadwalk. Every time I run this dungeon, I hate the first boss.
So what basically happens is apparently Oblivion was doing scouting missions in living memory using some of the soldier bodies basically as stand-ins, much like how Kakiwa piloted her little mech body. Yeah. And in doing so, they apparently found a fucking abyss gate.
They found an abyss gate that basically during interdimensional fusion, one of the sectors of living memory got pulled into the rift, and basically it turns out it ended up in the void.
Yeah, it ended up in the 13th, and it got corrupted as a result of the lack of ether in the area, and thus what was basically a sort of Halloween town attraction basically became actual nightmare fuel.
Yes, and so we had to go through it. The first boss, let's just talk about it. Leonog the First.
It's a small world after all, where my heads or you will die. Hope you don't mind, this face will haunt your nightmares now.
Oh boy. So basically, it summons a whole bunch of zombie ads that just kind of run across the arena, and you have to move and dodge around it. I will tell you, this fight is a lot easier as a ranged DPS.
Yes, because you don't have to be close to the fucker. I actually found dodging it pretty good, and despite getting caught a few times, I didn't actually get punished for it.
Yeah, the gimmick is you will get caught by one of the things and you will get a head on. It's kind of funny the first time.
Yes, but when it happens the third or fourth time during the same run, it can get on your nerves.
Yes.
And you can't attack while you have the dummy head on. It puts you in place. It keeps you frozen in place for 3 seconds, and you can't attack for an additional 7 seconds afterwards.
Which is annoying.
Yes, and of course the boss has AoEs that will drop if you get targeted, so you definitely want to avoid getting hit.
You want to avoid getting hit, and you're going to have to keep moving.
Yeah.
So, again, it's a fight that's more friendly to a ranged DPS than anything else.
Right, and especially punishes the magic DPS a lot.
Yeah.
I will say this is also one of the few dungeons which had an actual jump scare in the middle of the fucking pulls.
Oh, you mean the Ferris wheel?
Yes! And you decided not to tell me, you asshole.
You had to see it for yourself.
I had to feel it for myself because it fell on my head. And I was wondering, like, wait, why is everyone not near me? Oh, shit! Could not run fast enough to escape that.
I just tank it.
I know you tank it because you were the tank.
Yeah. But then the next pot, the next
Jack in the Pot.
Jack in the Pot, which is just a giant teapot whose gimmick is the little teacup rides.
Yes, he basically spikes one of them with a bomb, and you have to go ahead and make sure you're not near the area when it explodes.
Yes.
And then he does 2 of them, and then he does 2 of them with even more decoys.
Yes, he does 2 of them in different positions, so you have to double look at where you're going. Thankfully, these first 2 bosses do not have a lot of health.
They do not have a lot of health, and honestly, I don't know whether it's just I've been exposed to that gimmick too many times, or I'm just used to going ahead and having that as a mechanic to where I don't even have to look at it and I just can intuit the positions.
You're lucky. I cannot sometimes, but thankfully, it's the first 2 I can easily determine. It's the third one that always gets me.
Yeah.
And also, this thing has a really nasty bleed on it when it pours the tea into the cups and they overflow.
Yeah, the overflowing tea was definitely a panic moment for us and Lumi.
Yeah, Lumi was panicking the most, but then again, she was healing for this, and I feel sorry for her for that.
And then
we make her heal so much, and I'm sorry for that.
Yeah,
Lumi, if you're hearing this, I'm very sorry.
We will need to go ahead and make sure you're properly compensated for your heal duties. The last one is the Grandmaster of
Traumerri, which is a Hades reclone.
Hades reclone as if he was dressing up as Oogie Boogie.
Yes.
He has an interesting gimmick where basically you have to go between being a spirit and being alive because he has specific one-shot attacks that will target you in either form.
Yes. Which is pretty fun. And then he creates these poltergeist things which create barriers, and you have to basically move through them as ghosts to avoid getting hit.
But then also make sure that you're not being targeted immediately thereafter by a ghost killing attack, as well as lines that will basically go off one after another.
Yes. It's a pretty fun fight in my opinion.
Yes.
The only thing I hate about Stray Burrow Deadlock is that first fight.
Is the fucking squirrel.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it is. I hate what it is. But I hate it, and that is... I hate my stupid son.
Yes.
I hate my stupid son who is stupid and ugly.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's the only issue with that dungeon. I enjoy the rest of it immensely. It's just that first fight just leaves such a sour taste in my mouth that whenever this thing pops up in my dungeon queues, I'm like, really?
Yep.
Okay, let's do this. Let's bite the bullet.
Take a shot. All right, but all in all, it was a very fun expansion, and it's definitely one. Oh yeah, there's one minor thing we kind of never touched on, but we probably should anyway. Everyone's fashion is looking fantastic now.
Oh yeah, as of 7.4, everyone is Well, for one, this expansion was the graphics update.
The graphics update is also the glamour update, because basically Yoshi P said, go forth and change the meta forever.
Yeah. Well, basically, that was his panic button.
Yes. So everyone can now wear...
Because I believe that they were saving that for 8.0.
So everyone can go ahead and wear whatever outfit they want for glamour purposes. Doesn't matter the level, doesn't matter the class.
Your weapon is tied to your job, regardless.
Just acquire it, put it in your glamour slot, and you can wear it. Which
means that I had to actually clear out my glamour dresser because I had a lot of duplicates of several outfits that I had to have because that they were for specific jobs.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, which one of these do I like the most? You? Okay, the rest of you are getting turned into company seals.
Right. And so it's definitely caused a number of massive changes. And it also went ahead and... there was one other thing we did.
What?
The Arkveld quest.
Oh, we did the Arkveld quest.
So, in addition, in collaboration with Monster Hunter Wilds, who gets the honor of getting to experience Omega for the first time.
Learn larboard and starboard, bitches.
Arkveld made a migratory visit to Tuliolal, and so we encounter another feline meowster who needs help. And we go hunting Arkveld.
Yeah, it's just basically go hunt Arkveld, have fun with it. It's a very rough fight sometimes.
It's an 8-man, isn't it?
It's an 8-man.
It's an 8-man in comparison to the Rathalos hunt, which was a 4-man.
Right.
Basically, you do the same thing you did the last time. You go ahead and track down the monsters if you were doing Monster Hunter Wilds. You go ahead, find the lair. The feline goes ahead and the Palico offers you meat to go ahead and fuel up before going in. And you have an 8-man fight against Arkveld, who has some of the most awesome mechanics I've seen in a while. Pretty tough, but honestly, I enjoyed dying at that one compared to some of the other ones we had.
Yeah, it is really hectic, but as long as you read his tells, you know what he's doing.
He had two major attacks that I think caused trouble. One was he would do line attacks. If he dropped the line in the middle, it would expand out longer than what initially it was.
It has two variations of that. The white one, which will expand out and do more damage, or the red one, where you have to go in, and because then the end point is the safe point.
Right, and then he also has an area shrieking attack, where he basically bounces around, and then you have to rush into him to avoid a AoE drop.
He also has 6 towers you have to soak. 4 of them for normal DPS, 2 for tanks.
Yep.
And for some reason, one of our tanks never did it.
And he has a double tank buster.
It is a double tank buster.
Yep. So, definitely wild.
He also has that one laser attack that Zeromus has.
Oh, yes. He has the Zeromus laser attack, too. At the end of it, you get I forgot what the bird companions are. A sacred.
You get a sacred as a mount.
You get a sacred as a mount. You get, of course, the option to go hunt him down again, as well as do the savage version. If you do, you do have the weapons as well as the armor for normal.
Yeah, whenever you beat him normally, you get a weapon coffer for the weapon, and you get 2 of the scales that you carve off him.
Yes.
You can exchange the scales for several minions, or even the original base Monster Hunter armor.
Yes. Now, if you go ahead and decide to do the savage like a madman...
Well, it's the extreme.
The extreme, you get certificates.
Yes.
And you collect 99 of those motherfuckers, and you can have 3 Palicos carting you as a mount.
Yes, which is really funny.
Really funny.
But, yeah, it's a wild fight, for lack of a better term.
Yes,
Ha-ha pun.
And the fact that it's an 8-man also means that it's double the fun compared to the Rathalos raid. We are not doing that unsynced for a long-ass time.
No. Let's see. We'll probably be able to unsync it
in 10 years when 2 expansions have passed out.
Pretty much.
I will go ahead and throw out that as of time of recording, we have done the first wing of Arcadian. We are not going to discuss that until I've actually completed the darn thing. But odds are we're going to do Arcadian first, and then we'll start doing the Alliance quest.
Okay, there are the 2 Alliance raids. Those are spicy, by the way.
Oh, I can't wait. We will be doing the patches as well. However, as of time of recording, Manderville is not finished yet.
Yeah, so we're going to save Manderville until it is completed.
Until the very end, and then hopefully by the time 7.5 or 7.55 comes out, we'll know where the fuck we're going.
Yeah, so here's what I think we're going to be doing. For the next podcast, we will do the Arcadian, and I think we will do patch 7.1 to 7.3.
Okay.
For the next one, we will do 7.4, provided 7.5 isn't out yet, we'll do 7.4 and the Alliance raids.
Yes. And then we'll leave 7.5 and 7.55 for the end with Mandeville.
Yeah, although I was thinking that we could actually start doing a podcast every patch.
That might not be... It depends on how much content there is, especially because we're currently going at 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Fair enough. This is one of our longer ones, but...
But we're probably going to be going on much more sporadic releases in the future. However...
Yeah?
There's been another game that I've been playing in the background to this. And it's part of the reason why it took me a little bit longer than usual to get finished with this. That you have been dying to get me to go through and finish up, and I'm near the end game in that one.
Oh yeah, we're going to need to do a podcast for that. So we did a Pokemon podcast, which no one watched, which I'm very upset about.
It happens. But we will be, the potential next podcast we'll be doing is going to be Expedition 33.
That'll be fun. So until then, this has been Ray.
And this has been Leo.
Signing out.
Au revoir.
Take care and have a good day. Adios, motherfuckers!